If you like the salt, sand, and sun, and maybe a little CB radio, then you're gonna like our guest tonight next on Live Free and Ham. Hello and welcome to the Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And we're always thrilled to have you guys here, whether you're a regular listener. And thanks again for tuning in for the first time, or maybe this is your first episode and you've joined. We love to have our Patreons. They are in the chat now. We got a few in there. We got Mike, who's come to hang out with us. So if you are ever so lucky to be a Patreon, make sure you check our Discord. And you can pick up the link there, or even on our Patreon page. We always make sure that we try to bring in our Patreon folks and have you guys come participate with our guest and hang out with us as we record the next week's episode. So with that, looks like Ted joined in too. Good to see you in there, Ted. So let's just get into our usual. So I'm your host, Eric, call sign N1JUR, and I'm with my co-hosts.
Face your fears on this wild
Todd and M1OG.
Come on, we always P before T. P before T.
He wasn't going. It's Todd, W1STJ.
Okay, we sound like a really well put together show here tonight. So yes,
and we've got. Go ahead, Walt.
Yeah, and we like to introduce our guests, so we're so anxious to get to.
Yeah, there you go. Hi guys, Walt K4OGM.
All right, cool. Oh, we'll get into a little bit more of that in a second or two, but we always like to get through our usual catch up here. So as always, if you haven't, head on over to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. You can check out all of our new merch. We've got our latest shirt out there, our RF Around and Find Out is out there in the show. And we're hopefully this week we'll be posting our three faces of N1OG skydiving t-shirt to replace the he jump. So that's coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And as always, we've got all of our hammies up there that you can pick up, whether you want to pick up a 3-pack, 10-pack, or you're one of those ambitious folks like Tortoise Overland and picking up a 25-pack. If you want to just hand out something cool, that you see a guy or a gal with their Jeep and they got ham radio antennas and whatnot on their car, and you just want to leave your calling card, these are a great way to do that. And it's sort of like the Jeepers. I mean, Walt and Todd both, are in the Jeeping family there, so they know very much about the whole duck thing. So, us ham radio, we want to share in some of that love. So we've got the hammies and a great way to go do that. All right. And as always, you can always connect with our community, and the ways you do that is obviously with our live stream every month. Once a month we go live, so make sure you head over to our channel, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as you'll be alerted to when we go live, because like we always say, we don't always have it scheduled on a consistent week, so we're all over the map. So if you want to come be part of that whole process, then make sure you're a part of our channel and get notified when we do. And this is our month. So this is our month. We're going to our 500 subscribers. So we're going to be doing a little bit of giveaway. Have a bunch of people on. Walt, we'd hope, we'll extend the invite, you come hang out with us. We'd love to have you on. And, so that's one way. As always, you can reach out to us via SMS. You can send us an email, or you can do the cool man way of sending us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. And again, all those links are in the bottom of our show notes of every show in the description. And so outside of that, we've already talked heavily about the 24-hour POTA. So if you haven't gone over and filled out that form is still open. We're still accepting folks that want to be part of that. So head on over and take care of that. And that link is in our show notes, as well as in the ticker that's going across the bottom. Outside of that, you can always be, like we've got a few here already, Mike and W1TED. Both those guys are loyal Patreon folks, and we'd love to have them in the chat. And that's just one of many other cool things that our Patreons get, is that they can be part of our live recorded episodes and hang out in the chat. And they get to receive a whole bunch of other really cool things and items and everything in the Live Free and Ham community. So we love all of our Patreon folks, and we like to make sure that they get lavished with a lot of gifts, and they're part of some really cool stuff. So, come over and join the fun and be part of our Patreon. And if you can't and you want to do a one-time donation, we always can use the help. The show definitely takes a lot to produce and put together. And we always like to give back to the community. So you can always buy us a beer link, or, we always have our, our number one skydiver here. He was, skydiving's expensive. It's way more expensive than the ham radio hobby combined 4 times over. Trust me, if you've heard past episodes, you know that it heads up fast. Head on over to the top of our homepage at livefreeandham.com. There's a button up there. You can do the GoFundMe there and help, Paul continue to keep working towards, the rest of his goals and getting more time in the air, because we all like to see that stuff. And, you might be one of those direct recipients if you're going to, was it Hamcation? No, it's not Hamcation. It's Huntsville. Thank you. Yeah, if you're going to Huntsville, he's going to be jumping there. Hopefully, everything good. So, if that all plays out, you might have a second opportunity to make another, 2-meter, parachute mobile contact. So, cool way, and you're going to get to Live Free and Ham host. What better? I mean, that's just gold alone. So, cool. All right. Well, and with that, we always like to say with all of our Patreon members,
you can join for as little as $3 a month. It's not a big expense.
No, it isn't. And Bob Koff is the man. So, and we know he's the man because we've dedicated a shirt to him. If you want to be like Bob Koff, you can head over to him and pick up one of our Patreon fans there, shirts there too as well. And
Bob is awesome.
Bob is a cool guy. Yes, I agree 100%. So we've got some mail in our mailbox. So we are going to kick this off here.
It is everyone's favorite segment.
And now I take that back. We're not going to do that segment right now. We're going to hit the wrong button here, and I'm going to hit the right button. Mailbag is the one I...
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Hey everybody, we got some news.
Slow down, Boog. Let me handle this. We've got some news. I've got bad news and bad news.
I have reviewed ship's personnel, Captain.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
Like I said, this is a top quality production show tonight. I'm telling you guys, you are in for a treat. No doubt. It's that vegetarian brisket that's starting to affect my brain. Anyway, over to Todd there, because we've got, Paul's got a win link. I don't know, if he wants to share that.
I didn't get any mail.
No, you didn't get any mail? Okay. Well, I know Bob said he was going to send you something because I did see a text message about that, but nothing yet. But what do we got in the win link, mailbag there, my friend?
Well, if it would unminimize from my taskbar, it would be great.
Trying to open up on your non-existent second window.
It will. I've been having issues with my second monitor. I don't know if it's the cord, the display port cord, or if it's the graphics card, what it is. But hold on, let me relaunch WinLink.
Like we said, as Mike says, we are a bunch of amateurs.
Bunch of amateurs.
That's what we are.
For sure.
Hit that one on the head.
All right, I got it. So here we go. Remind me to update later. So from N2MAK, subject, congrats and congrats. Hi, Paul. Since I'm doing my WinLink Wednesday weekly check-in, I wanted to send you a quick congrats for getting your Class A license for skydiving. You deserve a lot of credit for all the hard work, planning, and sacrifices it took to make it happen. I also wanted to say congrats to the whole Live Free and Ham crew on getting 500 subs on the YouTube channel. I know I'm enjoying the podcast, and many more are too. Keep up the great work, all. 7-3 Mike, N2MAK. And there's a postscript. This message was sent using the beta version of the 56-1 Reliance bug-out and fed half-wave on 30 meters for Work Band Wednesday. Leave no band behind.
Brought to you by Reliance Antenna and Mike, N2MAK Insurance. Because $20 is $20.
I see Mike like being president of the ARRL one day. You know what I mean? Mike, like he does.
I'd vote for that. Yeah, I'd vote for that, man. That would have been one.
Epic. He really is.
See that, Mike? Start running. Very cool. Well, Mike, thank you again for such an awesome win link, and appreciate you. I mean, at this point, we're going to have multi-level win link statuses, for all of our, honorary members that are in that crew. So, we'll have to work on that in the background. But either way, good on that. And so with that, we're now going to roll into an episode, a segment that we all really like here.
It is everyone's favorite segment.
And now, a little something extra with Todd, W1STJ.
Still a general.
Yes, he's still a general, but we still love him. Well, we finally got this segment right where it needs to be. So let's kick the little script off. You've heard it here. We always help Todd study for his extra class license. Obviously, with each episode, we pick 3 questions. Sometimes the same question keeps coming up week after week after week. Eventually, we'll get it in there and lock it in. But we're working towards him getting his extra class license in working through the extra class question pool, the whole entire pool this time. So we're working hard. And I know it's been a slog, but Todd's been doing an awesome job, and he keeps plugging away at it, and he keeps tolerating Paul and I, hazing him often. But that it's kind of par for the course, So if you'd like to follow along, not the hazing part, of course, you can always head over to hamstudy.org. It's a great resource to help you prepare for your test, and it's recommended by 4 out of 4 volunteers examiners, and I condone that. And, with that, we obviously want to hand it over to our VE Quizmaster, Mr. N1OG. Please take it away, sir.
All right. Well, welcome to the VE team there, Eric. I sent you an email earlier.
That. I just saw that earlier. Thank you, sir.
So, yeah, welcome to the VE team.
Yes, looking forward.
So, Todd, question number 1 is a question that you have seen before. So, I hope you get it right this time.
How do you know I got it wrong?
Because we've seen it before, too.
I gotten it right. It's because it pops up. I assume I get it wrong.
Listen, I was reviewing past episodes, and this one came up, and so it's just all too fortuitous that you get it again tonight.
Wow.
So
there we go.
On the Smith chart shown in figure E9-3, what is the name for the large outer circle on which the reactance arcs terminate? Is it A, polar axis, B, impedance axis, C, reactance axis, or D, prime axis?
Oh no, this is going to throw him off. He's playing the wrong song. The Jeopardy.
I think it's either A or D.
Ooh. I'm going to go with B. Walt, you got the one you want to jump in there?
I'm thinking C, if I remember if I heard it right.
God, now you guys really screwed me up.
So final answer, Todd.
Reactance axis just seems too common sense. Right? Like it says which the reactance arcs terminate. So I don't think it's that one. The questions aren't that easy. All right. I'm going to say.
Well, you can eliminate 2 off the bat, which would be obviously what? There's no polar axis has nothing to do with radio, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And prime, not really.
Yeah, it's either B or C.
Yeah, I'll go with C.
C is the right answer.
Ooh, nice. There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, with some help from Walt there. But yes, if you remember, the top half is impedance, the bottom half is reactance, and all of the reactance arcs terminate in the outer circle, which is the reactance axis.
I have an antenna book out by the American Radio Relay League. I better get that question right. You know what I
mean? And that book would be, for those that don't know?
Salty Walt's Portable. So look at me. I look at the advertising. Salty Walt's Portable Antenna Sketchbook. Get yours today from the American Radio Relay League. Back to you.
Love it. Awesome, Walt. Awesome.
More antenna questions.
All right,
bring it on.
Now that we've come back from our commercial break, Todd, question number 2. Why do DX stations often transmit and receive on different frequencies? Is it A, to separate the calling stations from the DX stations? B, because the DX station may be transmitting on a frequency that is prohibited to some responding stations. C, to improve operating efficiency by reducing interference. Or is it D, all of these choices are correct?
It's E. It's E. to make the sad hams yell, he's 5 up!
Isn't that a choice? It's 5 up.
I'm going to go with D. All these choices are
yes,
correct.
You are correct, my friend. Yes, 2 for 2.
All of these choices are correct.
Mm-hmm. That's a guarantee for sure.
All right. Well, you're doing much better this week. You've gotten a little bit of help, but you're doing better.
Walt luck. You got the Walt luck.
He's ready. Take the test. Let's go.
For the third and final question of the evening. You've also had this one before.
Thanks.
What notifications must be given before transmitting on the 630 or the 2200 meter bands? Is it A, an environmental impact statement must be filed with the Department of the Interior? B, a special endorsement must be requested from the FCC. C, operators must inform the Utilities Technology Council of their call sign and coordinates of the station. Or D, operators must inform the FAA of their intent to operate, giving their call sign and distance to the nearest runway.
I am not a pilot, but
right.
I play one on TV.
I think it's C, because I think I got it wrong last time. So I'm going to go with C.
You definitely did get it wrong last time.
Thanks. Such an ass.
I think it's B.
That's what I think I picked last time.
Yeah. I like the Utilities Technology Council, though. It's a good group of guys.
You got any guesses there, Walt?
I'm just going to guess. This totally guess. I'll guess C. I remember this question. I can't remember what the answer was.
Well, C is the correct answer.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Thanks, Walt.
Yes.
Wow, 3 for 3, Todd. Holy crap. Wow.
So before you transmit on the 630 or 2200 meter bands, you must inform the Utilities Technology Council of your call sign and coordinates of the station.
There you go.
So, bravo.
Whew. Bravo, dude. 3 for 3. Nice job.
No song tonight?
No song tonight at all. Yeah, no song at all. All right, cool. Let's go back to our regular scene there. You flying around there? My gosh, yeah, animated backgrounds there, my friend. People jumping around the sky everywhere. So, all right. Well, with that, as if you're on the journey to studying for your technician general, or maybe your extra class license like Todd, then hamstudy.org is always a great and awesome resource for getting that ticket. And again, if you've received your license or maybe you've upgraded, we want to know. You can head over to our Discord and you can post that in our Discord, or you can send us an email at livefreeandham@gmail.com. Because, hey, we want to recognize you for all the awesome hard work that you put in to get your upgrade, or maybe you got your ticket for the first time. Actually, I do have a new ham in our club, Chris. He's a blind ham, and his call sign is KC or KB1 or K. I think it's KC1. WXP. And the only reason why I remember is Windows XP. So, he got his call. He showed up at our club meeting, and it was good to see him. And he was super happy to have his call sign and then be able to start getting on the air. So he's doing a lot of really cool stuff and opening my eyes. For the pun there to learning all about blind hams and radios and all the things that I just kind of take for granted. He's just showing us some really cool ways to be able to communicate using All-Star and DMR and all of things like Echolink and everything else like that. And he is an awesome guy. And actually, I found an interesting kind of tidbit. He actually sings professionally, the national anthem and stuff. So I've got to find a couple of clips around that, but that's really cool to see. And he's a really cool guy. So, he's definitely one I want to get to know more and learn more, from him for sure. So, Todd, Paul, are there any, folks you saw call sign wise coming from you or anywhere?
Not that I've seen, no. I will say, though, that we only have one person registered for our upcoming session in July. So if you're in the area and you want to test with us, just go to find us, GSARA on Ham Study. And July 12th, I believe, is the next session.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, definitely sign up. And, we're obviously moving more towards the online stuff too as well with that. So we'd love to have you come on anytime. And, hey, eventually we might move into, a Liffrey and Ham kind of, VE testing crew, which would be kind of cool.
What's the one after the 12th?
It's the next
October,
September.
I think.
Yeah, September, October. Right.
Yeah.
But, hey, if we move faster than we usually do to go to
July
online.
20th, it's my last baseball game.
Forever?
Coaching.
Okay. Wow.
So
that's a monumental day then.
We can do online sessions now, yeah.
Sweet. Well, then we can definitely plan that. So, maybe, hey, if you want to, get tested soon, reach out to N1OG and, we'll get that lined up.
Can't you guys just come over and test me?
Well, you want a personal, serenaded, we'll play music in the background, like candles kind of thing?
Yeah.
No. But we might do a live, though. We'll record that. All right. Okay. Well, with that, let's, get into our Ham Radio Week before we kind of get into the topic tonight. But, in our usual format, we always like to ask our guests first. Walt, how's your Ham Radio Week been, my friend? What's been going on?
It's been epic. I've had a good week. Got out on the beach a couple times. Built a vertical infed halfway for 20 meters and sat there and just talked away to Australia. What was that, Thursday morning, last week. As we all know, the sun has not been friendly to us in the HF bands since then. I picked the right day to go. Going to go out tomorrow and try to get out there. But other than that, I got some new keys. I've been working on my CW.
I thought that was a mistake when I saw the video pop out on the Morse code stuff. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? This must be like one of those like fake news things. But then I'm actually...
I use, if you watch the video, I'm actually sending CQ with both with a paddle and with a straight key. I want to get better at CW because I don't know if I have them all here. I have 3 or 4 as I've seen them on eBay pop up, like the Hilltopper, radios that you really just can't get that I want. Over the last year and a half, after past year and a half or so, I see one pop up, I'll buy it on eBay. With the intention, I figured it would motivate me, and it has, to get better and start operating portable CW. And I did a video about the keys and learning or whatever, and it's probably my worst viewed video ever. So I don't know if the CW videos will be a big thing for the channel, but hey, it's a big thing for me. It's something I want to do. So
yeah, cool.
We'll put them in there. I'm not like Thomas Witherspoon. He could just like go out, turn the camera on, sit out there for a half hour and bang away, and everybody wants to watch the video, but I love watching his stuff as well. He's interesting. He inspires me. I know Thomas, but that's been my week. Basically, that one day on the beach that was really good, and then other than that, I figured all the time I have right now, I'm kind of in between jobs, not working, enjoying life, and trying to get better and better at CW.
Yeah, well, I don't think it would affect your channel that much. I think it actually, if anything, will, just add one more variation element. But, just like Thomas Witherspoon can get out there and bang out, CW in a matter of a few seconds, it comes natural for you for sideband. Like, no matter, even if the bands are in the dumpster, like, you're making contacts with, like, people halfway around the world. Like, I saw a few of the ones where you just set up on the beach early morning when you just got your camper and you and your wife went camping. Yeah. And I'm like, the bands were like a G4 storm at that point, and you were still making contacts. Like, meanwhile, I'm with Digital Rancher and I could barely scrape together 10 contacts.
Well, the difference, see, I tell you, we discussed this on the Northeast show. I'm farther south now, and like I get a higher muff, you know what I mean. So the I know the whole time I was in Rhode Island, in the last 2 months there, 10 was never open. The first weekend I was home down here in North Carolina, Virginia, man, 10 was open again. It was like, and I looked at the map, and the 28 number was just a little bit north of me, but way south of you guys. I mean, so that has a little bit to do with it. And we all know the real magic is being, 10 feet away from the ocean as I'm sitting there on the beach. That's really what's making it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're really making my wife's dream come true of, moving to the ocean, and just because the fact that I have the benefit of like actually being able to do, saltwater activations. But
yeah, I'll tell you, good place for you guys. I just spent a year there and absolutely fell in love with Rhode Island. Rhode Island to me, it's just amazing. I'm going to miss it. I really am. I don't miss it right now. I'm glad to be home, but in the long run, it was a wonderful place to spend a year of working time. It really was.
Although, like now that I got a little piece of your insider, we'll call it family kind of life and where you live, you've got it everywhere. I mean, you literally are walking distance from everything pretty much. And, ocean, I mean, you're pretty much surrounded by ocean no matter what, where you're at. And it kind of makes me a little jealous because I'm like, that's like kind of our Portsmouth, area up here in, New Hampshire and stuff. So, it's very like almost like kind of walking through, time just to see it in a different location. But yeah, nice little digs there, man. I'm impressed.
It's fun. It's a cool place to live. What you didn't see in the video, if you watched the video a couple videos ago where I took the ferry across the harbor to Wisconsin, USS Wisconsin for Museum Ships on the Air Day, on that video that morning when I was coming across, that ferry lets off at the landing there, and then it goes about the next stop, it goes over to our ballpark. We have the Baltimore Orioles AAA farm team that's right there in the harbor as well. What's really cool about that is every night I can sit up on my third floor living room. It's just circular, and the windows face out looking over to Norfolk. Every night that we have a home baseball game, at the end of the game, I get to sit there and watch fireworks sitting on my living room couch. Wow. So that's kind of cool too.
Dude, that's nice. Yeah, and so I have to ask the inside question: do you get coffee for free?
Yeah, he hooks me up. Yeah, my son hooks me up.
I figured so, because it's like I didn't see him waiting in line too long, and all of a sudden it was just like, "See you later. I'm off with my coffee." And I'm like, he either edited it really well or he got it for free and moved on. So
it's nice to know the guy that runs the place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to get into a little bit more around that stuff because we got some really cool stuff to talk about tonight. But with that, over to you, Paul. How's your ham radio week been, my friend?
Well, so the only thing I did even remotely radio related this week was I got to go to a demo skydive to help out as ground crew. I brought my HT with me because I can hear the airband. So we were trying to listen to when we could finally hear the plane coming close enough that we could make radio contact, and I was like, I really need to invest in an airband HT. Not that I need to buy any more radios, but if there's a used one kicking around somewhere, I'm gonna try and grab one.
That's a marine band HT. I live by the water. If you're going to be flying out of airplanes, you need one. You know what I mean? It's no different than me being a salty guy, Paul, having one of these. You definitely need an airband HT.
Yeah, well, I got several marine ones because I've got an ocean boat, but yeah. I need an airband one now.
Todd, we see your mouth moving, but no audio. That's why you can't jive in.
Shit, I had myself.
Now you're working. Oh, there we go.
Coughed. So why do you need a HT airband one? Like, because you're just listening or so be communicating with them.
Yeah, no, I would like to be able to communicate with the aircraft. The FT3D won't transmit.
Right? Are you allowed to do that? Communicate?
Well, I mean, the girl that was on the HT with me yesterday is not licensed in any way, shape, or form, and she was talking to the plane. So,
yeah, okay.
I mean, that was a serious question because I didn't know if there was like some kind of rule, like you had to be a licensed pilot or something. Because you're basically saying like anyone could just get on the airband and start talking shit.
Well, I mean, so like, I mean, I listen all day, every day, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll hear the pilot talking to the air boss, the guy on the ground, and like, I mean, the plane uses a call sign, but nobody else is using call signs,
right?
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, although can't you mod your FT3? Is that possible?
No, so the Mars mod doesn't open it up to transmit for AM. It's still only transmits FM. So
got it. Okay, so maybe a cheap Quanchang AM. We'll do it because I know they have one. I know a person who might be able to get you one really cheap. So very cool. All right, well, dude, that's awesome.
Baofeng has one for $69.89 on Amazon.
Oh, appropriate.
You can go to BTEC, which is the American Quanchang, $164.89.
Oh, ow.
Now, if you want to get a really good one, you can get the Yaesu FTA 250L for $198.
That's still cheaper than what we pay.
Yeah, that's not bad actually, because I was looking at an ICOM that was like $300.
Then they got a nice little tiny one, Airband COM 232.
Well, there are options. He's got his helmet's already in flight, and he's already got a borrowed altimeter for eternity. So he's got to start saving for the parachute, and maybe once the parachute finally gets to a certain point, then he'll be talking radios again because he'll swallow the cost of what a parachute is and be like, dude, I can afford $100 radio, no problem. That's a walk in the park.
Man.
As Mike says, because everything is money for Mike. 198 is 198, guys. Come on. Cool. All right. Well, dude, actually, a question for you. So, is there for folks that like dive in or parachute into like those arenas? Like, do you have to be a certain class level to do that, or is it just?
Yeah, there's a pro rating that they have to get.
Mm-hmm. Is that like above the E rating that Carlos has, or like somewhere in between?
No, so it's an in between thing. So you can, I think after your C license, you can start getting those specialty ratings.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just the understanding the winds and how everything changes, and your landing zone is considerably smaller, and it's filled with obstacles like light towers and the nets that run along the first base and third base lines, and
wow.
So it was kind of cool to be there, walk out on the field and go, okay, like they need to watch out for this thing and this thing and this thing, and fortunately the winds were very, very light and variable, so they didn't have to, do any big adjustments for wind, but it was interesting to see him kind of like thread the needle between where the light post was and where the net started at the foul post line. And
wow.
So takes some skill.
I was going to say, there's also a parallel here. I don't know if you've picked up on it. This is the first time Paul's been, a parachuter. What's the official term? Are you skydiver. Is that what they call their parachutist? What's the best way?
Skydiver.
Okay, yeah. Skydiver. And Todd, he's been in a baseball diamond at the same time. He might not be coaching and he might not be playing, but he's in a baseball diamond. so this is almost like a trifecta here. Yeah, we're building up to it.
So if you take a radio up and you dive through the maximum usable frequency, what kind of diver are you?
I'm off. Oh boy! I just got that one. Thank you, Ralph. We are not a family-friendly show, so it's okay. It's totally fine, man. It works.
We're talking about the maximum usable frequency. Every time I did a video on that, the comments were like, "I'm like, grow up, man. Let's go. Come on." So
made it viral. I'm sure. Alone, just on the comments. Very cool, man. Awesome. Well, looking forward to seeing, obviously, a lot more skydiving. Carlos, I think you're, planning soon to do another skydiving session with Carlos coming up?
Yeah, Friday, Carlos will be here, and we'll get to do a bunch of jumps.
Very cool. Awesome. Sweet. Well, then we'll be looking forward to seeing that for sure. And, awesome on the grounds crew there. And it sounds like you're getting a lot of cool, like insider, sorry, the phrase baseball with a lot of the skydiving crew there. So all good stuff, man. Awesome. All right. Well, over to Todd then. How was your Henry week, my friend?
It was all right. I haven't really been on the radio much, but I did get my new portable radio for the car, an antenna mount, and today I was able to put on the molly rack on the outside of the Jeep with the window. I saw it at Nearfest, and I thought it was pretty cool and really cool design the way it goes on. It went on took me 5 minutes really. So I got to take it off to mount the antenna mount, and then I kind of did exploring through the Jeep to see how I'm going to run it. It's going to look really clean, and it's going to be much better than the way I had it before. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just waiting for my 67 design bar mount, and then I should be good to go.
Sweet. So have you kind of already done the envisioning, kind of, putting the head up on top of the dash to see if it works there?
So I went to go see Ryan's house or his radio and put it up there. So I'm doing a little different. I'm going to have my phone closer to me and the radio more off to the right, where I used to have it to the left, or it's kind of like in the center. Mm-hmm. So it'll be more to the right and the phone will be to the left, and it's going to look pretty good. It's a little different design because the center, where that used to be like the big tray, is they have a charging light when you charge the Jeep. So the bar is actually going to be out over the right parallel to the top of the radio. So it was a little bit farther back. So I might have to get another a shorter bar to connect to, but I've got a whole bunch of sizes, so I'm just going to wait and see, and we'll play it by ear. So that's pretty exciting. Haven't had a chance to play with the radio. I've just been so busy with baseball and stuff. So only got about a month to go, and then I get my life back and baseball goes. And Zach doesn't want to play in the fall. He wants to take a break. So
good for him.
Kind of happy for that. So, I mean, we'll still do some baseball, but I won't be doing every weekend and stuff. And as for field day, I'm still trying. I might be able to make part of field day. Most likely it's going to be in the evening. So I'm going to definitely get there and hang out for a while, make some contacts, but that's where we're at.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, looking forward to, getting over there to help you do a little wiring. If
I'm going to have most of it done before you get here.
Dude, that's even better. That just makes me warm, because it's like, I have done my job then if I'm able to equip you to go do the install yourself and you're not dependent on me for tech support. So I've done my job then, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I've already thought it out. I mean, the only thing I might need just some guidance on is when we cut the wires and stuff, but I got some better ideas than the way we did it before, because the way we did it before was half-assed. Yeah. It was all it was spliced together with electrical tape.
Yeah, but we'll power pole. If you want to power pole some of that stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to make it nice and clean, and so it's good. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, a question for you. Now, I know the 510 has that option where you can plug the mic into the head or the body. Have you decided which one you're going to go with?
that's one of the things I'm kind of, because I used to have the mic run from the body and the wire underneath the car seat, and then it was like right by the stick shift, really. This one now, I might be able to put a mic holder on the rail and might be able to just clip it right to that. But I'm also wondering how it's going to look. I don't want the cord hanging over my radio screen and stuff. So it's going to basically, I mean, I have a lot of options, and with that mount, you can move things around. So I'm not sure yet, but I am very excited about having the speaker. And Ryan says that the way the speaker is at the top, it kind of bounces off the windshield, the sound. He goes, it's really clear and loud. So he says it's a pretty good design. So pretty happy about that.
Well, that's good news, man. Glad you solved two problems and, bought a new radio. So, like we said, we're glad to help you spend your money there. But, you had to buy a brand new car to spend your money. So it all works out.
I get a good deal on the car. Well, a ridiculous deal. It was too good to pass up.
True, but you had a working great Jeep already. So it wasn't like it was a gas problem. But, hey, we all have gas problems.
Put it this way. The amount after selling my 400 and getting this, 1 week of not having that old Jeep bought my new radio. So just for saving in gas money. So my car payments haven't changed. They're just going to go on a little bit longer.
Yep. That's
but
for sure.
My gas is definitely, $100 a week. And I've only spent, since I've had it a month, I've only spent about $30 in gas.
Well, as Mike says, $30 is $30, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it beats freaking 400, 500. So I'm ahead of the game right now.
Very cool. All right.
So, Eric, how was your ham radio week?
Oh, thanks, you, Paul. I appreciate that. My ham radio week. Oh, let me see. I didn't do much ham radio. I'm sort of in the same camp as you guys. I've been mostly working on, as you could probably see in the background there, at least up on the bench, I've been putting together my all-star node that's supposed to go in the truck. I was able to finally get the back seats of my truck modded because the year I owned, it's in 2018, the back seats are permanently kind of mounted to the the back of the wall. So if you go in and modify some of the clips, you can actually make them fold down, which opened up a whole ton of space at that point. So I'm thinking more stuff, but for right now, I'm just gonna, basically mount this and get it all set up so it's powered off its own battery. And then once I finally get my order placed for my, oh my gosh, it's such a simple name. I always forget it. It's called the West Mountain Radio. Man, I can't remember what it is. It's basically a power, option for tool radios. If I just West Mountain Radio, I can always forget the name. And let me go here. There's one of their DC products here. Here we go. PowerGate. That's always the easiest one to remember, and I can never remember that damn name. So yeah, I'm waiting for that to come in. They finally announced that they had stock, so I ordered that. And so that's coming. But then when I put all my seats back in, I didn't pay attention because I was in a rush, and I crushed my cable for my antenna, 2-meter 440 antenna underneath the seat, mount. And when I got back in the truck, I turned on the radio and I was like, what the heck is going on? Why am I not transmitting? And I'm like, oh no, did I crush the cable? Todd, your video is gone again. You're missing your docking station playing games with you. And so I realized my mistake and removed the cable out of the the crushed bracket of the seat. And of course I pierced the jacket. So now I've got to replace the cable and everything. And of course the cable I have is that mini UHF to PL259 from Diamond and their antennas. So I have to, order that piece. And that's the only people that have it is DX Engineering. And that's going to take like a week. So yeah, I'm currently not using my radio on my truck, which is kind of a bummer because, I was hoping to use it, but it was just a stupid error on my part for not paying attention to what was in the way before I decided to screw the seat bolts down. So all a bummer. So yeah, that's my ham radio week. I didn't get a chance to play a whole lot of ham radio. I've been thinking about going out and doing it, but the bands, they aren't great. I'm not looking forward to it. Let's see if Todd's back here. There we go. Todd's back. Hooray. Hallelujah. You got to put another quarter in every once in a while to refresh the machine.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The whole thing, it just went, Google just kicked me off of everything. I was
Google
like, where'd everyone go?
Love that Mac. All right, well.
I haven't needed any technical support from you, so you should be happy.
Not yet. Well, you're doing fine, and I appreciate it.
Figured everything out because it's easy.
My week has been horribly gone wrong with every technical problem for computers, so I don't mind helping my friends, but you end up falling a little lower in the line. So. All right. Well, so with that, like we mentioned, we got Walt on tonight. So we're going to be talking pretty much, a bunch of things, I'm sure, because we all go down a little rabbit holes when Walt's around, because we love to hear all the stories and all the stuff going on. And it's always a blast to hang out with Walt. We obviously, Paul and I got to enjoy it firsthand, hanging out with Walt. We were down at Marconi's, park there and having a blast. We gotta find some time. I know Paul's probably have a little bit more of an opportunity to drive right by you on the way down to, what the heck?
On the way back from Huntsville, yeah.
On the way back from Huntsville, or either.
I'm going to be in Huntsville too. I'll see you there, Paul. I'm looking forward to that.
Man, I really got
to. Mike's coming. Mike and I have talked about it. I don't know if Mike
was planning on coming. Oh, cool. Mike, is that true?
Yeah, it's on the maybe list for him, I think.
Okay, cool.
I saw him at Convention, so that'd be cool.
Chris Bricker was a maybe too, and I offered him my couch, and he said, "Okay, I'll come."
There you go.
Oh man, I really lost slack in here. So then maybe, I don't know, we have our 24-hour POTA in September, so I don't know if you want to make a weekend trip up. We've got a couch at a spot, in our trailer. If you want to come hang out with us and do a 24-hour POTA, we'll be at the Greenfield State Park in New Hampshire, and so we'd love to have you come hang out with us.
I'll have to check that out. I'll have to see. I am going to Huntsville, and then I think it's early October. I'm going to Pacificon with the league.
All right. Well, we're September, so we're kind of nestled right in between.
I got to schedule those weekends in. You know what I mean? It's like I've been gone for a year. I got to get my wife every weekend I can when I'm not doing ham radio. But I was, as we talked a while back, all of us. I really want to maybe next year in the spring. Us all go to a spot either on the beach in Connecticut or Rhode Island and have an all day or overnighter there, you know what I mean? And then do a New England expedition together. That would all be fun. We had talked to Izzo and those guys, and that would be a fun trip as well. I want to do that. It's something I want to start doing. Maybe next year, especially with you guys up there. I mean, you guys have adopted me. I'm a New Englander now. You know what I mean? And I appreciate it.
You were before that.
Fun day that we had though when we were out on at Marconi Park on the Cape. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys letting me hang out with you. That was fun.
Yeah. Funny thing is I've got another one of our listeners for Live Free and Ham. I should just pull up his name, otherwise I'm going to butcher it. Chris. Yeah, let me see. What's Chris? What's his call sign? Oh my gosh, I don't have his call sign here. If I just keep going through the emails, but he hit me up because I had mentioned to him hey, I'd love to go do a park down. Oh, his call sign's Whiskey 8. Charlie Juliet Lima, and he lives down on the Cape area, and he actually hit me up. He's like, dude, we should do a POTA park sometime. I'm like, well, funny you say that because my dad got me coming down there on Friday, so let's go do a POTA park. So we're going to go activate on Race Point. So we're going down to US 11696, which is a small little place just off of Race Point in Sandwich. So that's at the point. So if the bands suck, we might have to do some 6-meter contacts because that'll give us a little bit of an advantage, hopefully. But I'm looking forward to that.
That's my secret. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be on my favorite beach, which just so happens to also be US 1299. First landing there, Virginia Beach. So I'm going to be there. Tomorrow, I'm going to take out. I got a G106. The little radio that everyone trashed and said was garbage. I'm going to take it out tomorrow. What I do is I go out there I'm going to go in the afternoon. I try to hunt DX, but when I'm on that beach and there's no DX, I just spot myself and do an activation, and then you get to see if the thing works or not that way as well. A couple videos ago, I did that as well. I just said, I made some contacts. I'm like, you know what? I still want to play radio. So I just spotted myself and do that. But I can imagine the Cape would be that way as well. You guys, especially, like had the weather been better, we could have went over the cliff and down to the beach and operated down there that day. Although it was a rainy, drizzly, cold day when we were there. But, there's a lot of places there on the Cape where you guys could do that as well.
Now, is that one the Zygu there? Is that the one that works with the GSOC too, or that attachment component? Like that they offer?
Yeah, it's got the DE12. I got that around here too. This is the little this is their entry level bottom of the line. This one does not have the tuner. It's just their bottom of the line QRP 5-watt transceiver. They sent me. They asked me if I wanted it. I go, yeah, this is the one. I don't know if you guys remember when it came out a couple years ago. K-Murder did a video on it, and he acted like it was dog poop in the yard, and he picked it up. And I was worried that Zygu was going to send the ninjas after him, because he ruined the radio for him. I bet he just killed their sales with that video.
He might have.
I don't think they'll ever send him. A matter of fact, I know they'll never send him anything else. So it was like, but you know what? He was honest. I mean, God bless him. And from what I understand, they've done some improvements to it. So we'll see. I'll be honest too. What I do is, if the radio is that bad, I just go, hey guys, I'm not going to do a video on this one, and send it back or whatever. Or do you want it back? I mean, yeah, I think you'd rather me not have a video than what I'm going to do. That's how I do it. I'm not going to promote something, but I can't live with myself if I'm hurting a business either. You know what I mean? So I just don't do a video. But if I like it, I'll be honest about it. There's a couple things I've gotten that I've gone out to do a video on, and I'm like, this thing's garbage. This is not going to go up. Yeah.
So I wasn't aware of this. Mike just posted this. Did you guys know that it was QRP Day tomorrow?
Yeah, I did know that. So that's why I'm going to be out there as well. Kevin from K0KLB, right? Yeah, KLB. Yeah, I have a hard time remembering the call signs. Yeah, he's been posting that tomorrow is QRP Day, so I'll definitely be up for that as well.
Yeah. I might have to go out and activate then. I don't think I've got it in my schedule.
Yeah, I'll be on the beach probably Eastern time, somewhere around 3:00 Eastern until about 5 maybe 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing a lot of hunting though. I'm not a CQ caller. I'm a DXer, and to be a DXer, you go out and, especially portable, you go out and hunt DX signals. That's a lot of people go, man, you need to live stream so I can get you in the log or whatever. I mean, I probably have a total of 8 POTA activations, and you guys were one of them with me. You know what I mean? I just don't activate a lot. I just hunt. It's easier, and nothing against domestic calls around the States, but I mean, the thrill to me is to operate someone across the ocean. You know what I mean? And that's just what I like to do. But
so question: how is that going to change with CW now? Like, I mean, obviously you can hunt in CW, but.
No, I'm there, and my plan was to be a POTA guy with CW, at least to learn, because a CW contact, a POTA contact on CW is quick. It's like DE4OGM, 599 73, boom, next one, CQ K4OGM. Call his sign, mine back, boom, just keep rolling and rolling. It's a heck of a lot easier than having it'll be a while before I rag chew on CW. Probably a long while, but
the good old
I want to get
button.
there. But that'll be a little while. But then all the people that give me a hard time from coming from the CB world can, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
Suck it.
There you
go. We can say it. Yeah, let it fly. It's all good. So. Awesome. Yeah. So looking forward to it. Now that I've got something to do tomorrow, I definitely will have to put it on the schedule there to go torture myself with QRP, because I know the bands are not going to be that great. And I'm going to have to this might actually be a good time. I've also just added a double portion and test the 56-to-1 Reliance NFED that Matt sent me, just because I haven't done it and taken it out of the box, and we'll try it, see what happens.
I think you might be surprised. I was looking at the at NOAA and Solarham, and tomorrow about 15 UTC tomorrow. Everything's going to dip down. It's going to be like, I think the HF conditions later in the day tomorrow are going to be pretty good. If the predictions show the way they should, it should be a good afternoon for HF.
Hopefully. Let me go knock on my radio. I'll be right back, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, yeah. So the sky's the limit tonight. So I'm going to say our topic is kind of loosely, framed here. I really wanted to bring you on, Walt, to talk more CB because and I'll admit it first, I am not a CB guy. My experience with CB is so small that I really don't have a whole lot of involvement or investment in it, and I'm almost at the point of not putting a radio in. So maybe that's a challenge to you, that maybe you can convince me otherwise that I need to put a CB in my truck.
I'll convince you otherwise. Okay. I will try at least. CB, the problem with CB is CBers. And the word CB, Citizens Band and CBers. The CBers on the 11 meter band are sometimes the problem. The guys that are 11 meter operators that are like serious, there's a whole subculture of serious operators that use the 11 meter band, as we call it, CB, that are out there. I know, I just gave Mike into MAK a radio, a fully legal president, FCC, as they call them, radio, the president brand with their CBs that are made for the U.S. market, and an FCC. I gave him the President George FCC model. The thing about that is, for legally, if you want to, you can talk skip now. It used to be there was a law that you could not talk more than 155 miles on CB radio in the United States. They did a rule change. A lot of people don't understand that, but they did a rule change a little over 10 years ago. The FCC modified the rules where you can talk. I mean, they know you can't control skip. You know what I mean? If something's going to skip, it's going to skip. An HF signal is going to carry. So they got rid of that rule, but they didn't get rid of the power rule. Now they don't. That's the other problem with CB radio is the FCC just turns their blind eye to it, and it is the wild, wild west on CB radio for a lot of people. But there are some people that, like myself, came from that world, and I'm not a saint. I wasn't always the guy that only used 12 watts. I'll tell the truth on that. But since I've become a ham, I've lived by the rules. 12 watts SSB. I mean, I've got a couple videos where I'm sitting in my Jeep with a 12 watts SSB talking to Jamaica. You know what I mean? Talking to California, Texas, Nebraska. I mean, 11 meters is just a little bit better than the 10 meter band. And you guys that are hams know how well 10 meters operates. There's a whole world of 10 meter radios that are really CB radios, but the makers build them as 10 meter export radios. They call them exports. I've done videos on the President Lincoln that I have. I think that's a 30 watt radio. The QT80 that Radioddity sells. A lot of people saw that radio. I opened mine up so you could get 12 and 15 meters as a 10 meter radio. But when you open it up, you also get the 11 meters, so CB. And that's a real popular 11 meter radio or CB radio for the guys that do that. But there's a whole subculture in there. There's a whole bunch of really, really good CB YouTubers or 11 meter YouTubers. A guy I like is called MowerJunkie. He's in South Carolina.
MowerJunkie.
Yeah. He's a riding lawnmower mechanic or whatever, but he's also a CBer, and he's pretty good, man. He builds homemade antennas. He built he built beams. He does all this stuff for 11 meters and talks around the world. He's one of the more popular guys. There's a guy over in Europe, Max Mountain World, built his own Mount Moxon, and he's in Switzerland. He's originally, I believe he's a Scot, but he lives in Switzerland, and he goes out on a dry lake bed with a Moxon and talks around the world on 11 meters. There's a woman in Canterbury, England, Kate in Canterbury. She just does, her video channel is just her DX clips of talking DX around the world on it. These are really good. I mean, and I've talked to some of these guys. It's like, get your ham license. Get your ham license. You're such a good operator, and they're so smart. I mean, they build great and they build antenna. They do everything we do. And there's just all this. There's just, like I said, there's just this culture. Here's why I kind of put this to Mike and to others is that, like Mike into MAK says, leave no band,
behind,
undone or whatever. 11 meters is there. It's an HF band. I was talking to Dave Minster, the CEO of the American Radio Relay League at Hamvention. He goes, Walt, the biggest mistake the American Radio Relay League did was back in the 70s when CB was so popular that we as amateur radio operators snubbed our nose at them, and we should have brought them into the fold and made the ARRL and everybody brought in that section of CB and 11 meters and and embraced it. And I said, it's not too late. He goes, you're right. He goes, that's kind of why you're here, Walt. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got you. And so I think that if I had my way and if I could do something about it, I want to be an ambassador for 11 meters. I hate calling it CB, although it is what it is. The 11 meter band, I would like for people to go out and get a U.S. FCC, like a president, George FCC. I have the one I really love. I have the President McKinley FCC. 12 watts on SSB. The SSB channels, the calling channel for SSB is 38 lower sideband, and 11 meters they use lower sideband. 38 is the calling channel. From about 34 to channel 40, the top of the channels, the high end of the band, all of that sideband. You can get on there and just make some incredible calls. It's different. You kind of got to learn the lingo. There's no more 10-4 good buddy and all that stuff. That's old. That's done. That's not the way it's done no more. These people call just like everybody else. You do make up your own. You take a 3-digit number and make up your own call sign, and then you can have a handle as well. Like I'm Salty Walt 040 when I'm on those talking that. The AM from the other channels are all kind of more local AM type thing. Channel 6 is what they call Super Bowl 6. That's an AM channel, but that's where all the guys that are running illegal 500 watts or a kilowatt or whatever are all there on AM on Super Bowl 6, Channel 6. They probably let off the key and hear themselves echo when they come all the way back around the world because some of these guys are running 5,000 watt, 5K. It's ridiculous. So there is a dark side to the 11 meter CB world, and it's dark side of it. You can get on some of these channels, and there's some idiots that key up over people that spew profanity or whatever. But then again, if you catch it at the right time, you get on there, like I said, up around, 37, 38, 39, 40, those channels, get on lower sideband, early in the morning, later in the afternoon or whatever, whenever when 10 is open, you can go over and check that out. It's amazing. Especially summer's kind of tough, but the spring and then again in the fall, Skip is just great, especially for you guys up in New England. When I was in New England, Rhode Island, I'd get up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning and play around, do whatever with ham radio. If I saw 11 was open, when I got through, I'd break out my CB radio and I just talk to the UK back and forth. It was kind of funny because I would go, the other part of the 11 meters is each country has a number. It's called a division. Like the USA is the 2 division. And I would get on there and I'd go, this is Salty Walt 2 division 040. And the guys in the UK would be like, oh, it's that ham YouTube guy. What's going on there? Whatever. So it's kind of fun, But I think I would like to see the 11 meter band get policed a little bit more. I mean, people would hate me for that. A lot of CBers would hate me for that. But I think it should be the way it is now. Leave it the way it is you don't need a license to get on it. But I wish the FCC would police it a little bit more and clean up some of the bad stuff that goes on it. I think it's a great band it was the band that got me into SSB ham radio. And I think it's a great band, and there's some great operators there. It's a great place to start. If you're studying to get your ham license, you can get on 11 tomorrow. You can go get that radio and get on it tomorrow and start talking, when the band's open around the United States, around the world with it. Now, yes, there are a lot of people that buy like the export radios that are, 100 watts, 80 watts or whatever, and which is it's technically illegal, but I'll be honest with you, I don't condone it, but people do it all day long, every day, and nothing's said. And people have, like I said, there's some good operators. I've got, I will not confirm or deny that I've ever used this, but this is an 11 meter 100 watt amplifier that you can pop on. It also works for the 10 meter band as well. Simple little amp that people use those, and that part of 11 meters CB is it's there. If you're going to operate with your 12 watt PEP sideband, you're going to talk to guys that are using 80 and 100 watts, but that's not your problem. That's theirs. You're still not breaking the rules. Some other rules that are broken, if you guys are familiar with what's called free banding, is each one of those channels, 1 through 40, has a frequency that that they're set on. Well, people with radios like the export radios can go off frequency 5 or 5 kilohertz one way or the other, whatever, and get off frequency. If the bands are crowded and use it, that's called free banding. That's illegal. But if you want to just go listen, if you got any of our HF radios, you can go listen to 27555, which is not a CB channel, but that's the international free banding calling frequency. It's pretty cool, man. You hear some people from all over the world, on that frequency talking as well. So that's 11 meters. That's CB to me. I started in CB in 1975 as a teenager.
When I was born.
I've been a part. It's been a part of me since then. I've always been into the skip part of CB and the DXing side of CB. Back then it was not technically legal. When they dropped the license requirement, the FCC also dropped policing it. I think now the only time they'll really do anything on the 11 meter band CB is if you're just totally disrupting comms with somebody else or whatever.
Yeah, didn't HR20 have a video recently about how a CBer got finally fined by the FCC?
Yeah, as he should have. And like I said, I wish the FCC would do more of that. I wish the FCC would find some of these guys that key up over top of other people, or that broadcast. There's guys that'll broadcast music on the band, and just ruin the whole frequency for everybody. There's guys that spew terrible profanity. And I wish they'd clean that up, because if they would, the 11 meter band would be epic. It really is. And at times it really is epic now, if you know what you're doing and can go to the right spot. If you can get away from some of the other guys, there are some really good operators on 11 meters. And I love doing it. I really do. I still do it and probably will for the rest of my life. Right now, while we're at solar maximum is the time. 5-6 years from now, 11 meters CB will suck. You know what I mean? It'll be, just like 10 meters does when we get to the bottom of the solar cycle. It's basically every, 5.5 years, either up or down, the CB is up and then down, up and down. So it's kind of how it is as well.
All right. Well, I got a bunch of questions, but I'll give you guys a chance. Go.
All right. For it.
So somebody like me, right, where I've played with CBs since I was a kid. I've always had CBs in my trucks, my off-roading trucks, or over the road, whenever I'm driving on the highways, whether it's up and down the East Coast or, coast to coast, I'm always running the CB. But so I'll listen to 9, 19, 17, right, depending on which direction I'm traveling. 6 is always great for understanding, if 10 is open or not, because, there's that. But so like the CB that I have is it's a Bearcat 998, which will do sideband.
Yeah,
but,
I have that radio. It's an amazing radio.
I love it. I actually have two of them. But that's what I've got mounted in the truck, and I never know like what to call myself when I'm on the air on this CB, or like where to go and use upper or lower sideband. So I just stick to the channels and I just stick to AM because I just don't know any better.
Go to anywhere from 35 to 40 lower sideband. Just go with that. Matter of fact, I have a short. If you go through my shorts with that with your radio, I'm sitting in the parking lot at work at the shipyard, and I have a little short 2 foot the little stick. You know what I mean? With the what's the name of that fire stick? I have a little short 2 foot fire stick on the back of my Jeep, and I'm talking to a guy in Jamaica with that radio and a little 2 foot fire stick, just sitting in the Jeep. You'd be surprised. And what I do, and it's almost like breaking a pileup. That's the other thing. If you operate on that, it will make you a better pileup breaker because you kind of start getting the ear and you know when to jump in. Like, I would go to 38 and listen. And if you hear some guy say like he's like, this is 735, the Blue Water Man in Kingston, Jamaica, right? And then you know what you do? You just grab the mic and go, Blue Water Man, this is Oscar the Grouch in New Hampshire. Do you copy? And then everybody else can be coming on just like a pileup, just like it. Just keep doing that, and sooner or later he's going to go, Oscar the Grouch. Hey, we got you in Jamaica. You know what I mean? It's almost like operating, sideband HF in the ham bands, just a little looser, a little bit more fun, and there is no law and order as far as like you wait until someone says QRZ, man. You just jump in there and go. You know what I mean? It's how it is, but it can be a lot of fun. It really can be. And so to answer your question, definitely you've got the radio. You got probably one of the best. Get on. Anywhere from 30, start at 38 dead center. That's the call-in frequency, lower sideband, and just let it play.
All right.
What we got to do is I got to find out when you're on. When the bands are open, I'll text you or something and say, go out and get on. We'll go like to 35 if no one's on it, and we'll get on lower sideband, and I'll call for Oscar Grouch, and we'll. See, I just gave you your name, so you're Oscar the Grouch. So that's what
you got your handle now, buddy.
Got your handle now, man. Hey, Oscar the Grouch is the Salty Walt, 040 in southeastern Virginia. Do you copy there in the land of the free or whatever? What I mean?
I'm looking at the fact that once you finally get him roped in, and then we go do a POTA with him, and I hear him calling CQ Oscar the Grouch, and it's like he's lost all of his ham radio skills for a couple of seconds there. Cool. All right. Well, Todd, you got anything you want to throw in? I got a bunch more I can keep going with, but
no, I mean, my experience with CB is like when I got my license, me and my friends all put CBs in, and we didn't know anything about it. We'd go into channels. We lived by a highway, so you'd always hear the truckers and stuff. And back then they would like yell at us and get off our bands and, get off our channel. And of course, we were like, yeah, it's not, you don't own it, that kind of stuff. But it would be cool. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying that, they get their CB radio, they just don't hear anything. Like,
right.
Timmy's.
And I can tell you why. They got AM CB radios. Everyone gets an AM CB radio. You got to have sideband. You've got to, if you're going to work any type of skip, you got to have sideband. One rule that just came into effect, a couple years ago, is FM. FM was just legalized.
Yeah,
and we did a video on it. Me and 741 and 040. We drove across Connecticut and met up with each other there and did an FM to FM CB contact. A couple of them, and had lunch. That was pretty cool.
That was a good video. Yeah, definitely.
That was a lot of fun. So FM's coming. That may help things as well for 11 meters FM. I mean, especially for local.
Now Now, what is you said 12 watts is the max you can have legally?
Oh, sideband, 4 watts on AM. You can only have 4 AM. That's the rule. No one follows the rule. It's kind of like driving. The speed limit is 55. No one does 55. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do. I mean, I kind of,
So it's 12. So it's 12 watts. So it's basically like doing QRP.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Same thing. Now, what's the max people will put like wattage out there illegally? Like, will there be like 1,000 watt?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that are. There's people pumping a kilowatt. Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow,
they are definitely
10,000.
Yeah,
10,000.
If you get on Super Bowl VI and with the AM guys, those guys have monster. You can hear. I mean, it's just ridiculous on Channel 6 AM listening to those guys with the amps. I mean, it'll blow your mind.
Now, if they're a kilowatt, right, and I'm at 12, and I can hear them, are they going to be able to hear me?
Some of them can. I mean, you'd be surprised. I make a lot of contacts on 12 with 12 watts all over. And I think it's no different than when you're QRP on sideband on ham bands, and those guys can hear you. I mean, you're not 5'9", you're not, or they don't say 5'9", you're not S9 to them. You're probably S1 or S2. But some of those guys, that makes it even more of a challenge. They're like, hey, where's he at? I hear him, is he, whatever. So, yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Now, what about the handheld CBs that you see?
The problem with those is they're AM. They're all AM.
That's just AM. Yeah.
Yeah. I know for a fact right now there's not a sideband handheld in production.
So you want a sideband, at least one that does sideband to get into CB.
The maker of those, the ones I really like and I highly recommend. I mean, Cobra makes a sideband. The radio Paul has, the Bearcat SSB, but 980. That's a great radio. President USA makes them, and they even have on theirs. They'll call it like the President George FCC. Anything you see of theirs that has FCC at the end of it, that is a 100% legal CB radio. I do say this is my code and how I live as an 11 meter guy, because I also am a licensed ham radio operator. I live by I stay within the rules. I don't use more than 12 watts. I use a compliant FCC approved radio on 11 meters. I don't bend the rules. I follow them 100%. People can laugh at me or call me a nerd or a square for doing it or whatever, but I don't want to jeopardize my ham license. You know what I mean? And the other thing too is I've got almost 31,000 subscribers. You can't put yourself out there to that many people and play stupid games, get stupid results. You know what I mean? I don't want that out there. I want people to know that, I'm just, as much as I'm trying to promote the 11 meter band, if someone's out there and they're not, they're using export radio and they're running 30 watts or 50 watts, whatever, good for you. I don't care. I'm kind of interested in what you're doing. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll do that on 10 meters, with the same radio. I'm not going to lose my mind over anything. I just know me as an operator, I can't do that.
Now, what do you you have so you have a CB in your Jeep? Do you also have one in the shack?
I have a few. What I'll sometimes do, I don't have one hooked up right now. I'll take like that President McKinley FCC I have and I'll just stick it up here, hook it to my power supply, and then put a antenna tuner with it, and then just tune my ham vertical for it. So after all that loss and everything, I'm probably putting out 6 or 7 watts, not really 12, but I'll do that occasionally. I've even gone out on the beach. I've done some videos. I go out on the beach on radio on a day when I know 11 meters is wide open, and just like I do with my ham gear, I've gone out on the beach with a CB and just had some fun playing around with that. It's amazing. What's really cool with that is that's kind of cheating. You know what I mean? I'm getting the 10 dB gain off of the salt water being right there on top of the water. So that 12 watts, I'm 100% legal, but it's like using 120 watts. I've talked to people, they're like, you're what? I said, yeah, I'm in Rhode Island using 12 watts. They're like, there's no way I'm in California using 1,000 watts and you've got a better signal coming to me than I do to you. You know what I mean? So that's part of the game.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It'd be definitely a good way to get people at least started who want to start talking, more than, like a technician gets a CB and plays with that, gets them as they're studying for their general or both, it gives them the opportunity to get out there and maybe get some farther contact. So I didn't know that you could, I didn't know the 11 meters. I just thought it was only AM that you could use, and it was just those, certain channels.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
AM's dead. That's why everybody says I got a CB and I don't hear anything. It's because the only people on AM is old truckers that still have them in their truck, and they are on channel 19. Even the truck drivers now, they're all using cell phones. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not like the old days where CB was at all.
Yeah. Well, I do see, you talked about your ham stick or whatever. I do see truckers driving because I pay attention to like what they have. And I've seen some of those like ham sticks and I've also seen, ham radio antennas, sitting on like their windows, like one by one, clipped on. Yeah. So I think they're, I think a lot of the truckers too are getting into ham radio and
back in the day, they really were. I mean, there's a lot of old stock and a lot of new old stock if you can find it. Like I bought a co-phasing kit, a wiring kit. If you remember, the truckers would have an antenna on both mirrors.
They
would co-phase two antennas. Well, that whole harness works great, and you can I've got a co-phase harness. I use it, and then I build a quarter wave for and pull it a half a wavelength apart, and it just it creates a beam, like coming through a beam with the co-phasing thing there. Hey, Mike, into MAK's asking a great question. What's a good DX antenna for 11 meters? That's a great question. I've gotten out with my pole, my DX commander pole. You could use any pole. Maybe you could use a little small 16-foot pole, but a 64-1 and a piece of wire cut for a half a wavelength for 11 meters. So vertical half wave for the 11 meter band. Oh my gosh. I've got a video on my channel where I was on the beach in Rhode Island and once again talking through the Caribbean with that antenna with 12 watts there. But vertical, if you're going to make one and have fun with it, that's a great DX antenna. If you want one to 100% keep in your vehicle, it's also a great antenna. Is the Fire Stick that we were just talked about. It's called the Fire Stick 2. It's a 5-foot long Fire Stick, and it's like a ham stick, but it is a 5/8 wave electrically. And
that's the one that's usually black with like a red tip at the top.
Red tip on the top. That antenna is a beast for to keep permanently on a vehicle. I've got a 5-foot one and that I put when I'm like on a road trip, and then when I'm riding around town, I have a 2-foot one. I like the Fire Stick 2 antennas, and I think I've even used them on 10 meters on some of my. There's some videos of me using that as well on 10 meters. They're great little antennas.
So I got a couple of questions. You obviously talked about like when you do a talk and skip with call signs and stuff. Like there's obviously I haven't spent a lot of time looking up documentation around it, but like, did you just like do the typical DX code of conduct, listen when you were doing it to get your own call sign, or what you're using for your handle?
You kind of listen around. I've never heard anyone use zero. I've never heard anyone use a 3-digit one that started with a 0 for one. That's why I liked it. So I use 040. A lot of people come back to me, hey, 40 or 40 in Virginia. I call it 040 because it's so close to my ham call. I'm a 4 call and I'm OGO. So I just made my 11 meter call 040. There are clubs that will, if you join a club, they'll assign you a number. Mm-hmm. I think it's called the Needle Benders is a club. They're like a DX 11 meter club. So your call, if you live in the United States, what I talked about before, they call the 2 division. They'll assign you a call. It'll be 2NB let's just say I was a member of Needlebenders and and 040 was available, I would be 2NB040. They'll, it'll be a club call sign that they give you.
Okay.
It's
but
kind of cool.
It's kind of just a loose fitted,
Very
kind
loose.
of approach. Okay.
Very loose. You can make up your call sign right now. Sometimes when I'm talking over to Europe, they do that. Like they'll have they'll have whatever country they're in, and they'll, like I forget what, I think I was talking to Czech Republic or whatever, and they're like 21. I can't remember what their country code number is. I have a list somewhere, but and they'll throw some initials in there of their club, like Charlie Z or whatever for CZ. So a guy will be like, I'm 21 Charlie Z 357. You know what I mean? So I'll put in there, I'm 2 Sierra Whiskey 040 from Salty Wall. You know what I mean? It's like, so just whatever, it's all made up, but it's fun. You know what I mean? If you're going to use a call sign, use it and stick to it, because you kind of, as you use it more and more and more, people start knowing who you are, you know what I mean? And you start talking to people. I mean, just like in ham radio, how many of us all know, anyone and everyone that's ever worked any DX across the pond knows who Sugar 5-1 David X-Ray is. There's guys like that in CB as well. Like, you know who Needlebender 01 is. The guys on, everyone's heard him across the country or whatever. It's the same thing.
Now,
it's a different band. It's just like ham radio, just a different band with a kind of a little bit different culture of talk.
Is the culture the kind of the same in terms of the QSL world like we have in ham radio, or are they just it's kind of just like it's in the moment and then that's it, or like do they have like a trading kind of thing? No, they don't really trade. I know they just just more or less I don't even know if people actually log. I'm sure some people do. I remember in my mind, hey man, I'll talk to Jamaica, or I'll talk to I talked to Costa Rica or whatever, and just whatever. It's kind of real informal, not as organized as far as logging and all that as we do in ham radio. A little bit different there, but like I said, it's just it's a place to just go have some fun. Cool. You guys got anything you want to throw in?
No, I'm just going to start leaving my radio on channel 38 lower sideband.
Yeah, do it.
I'm almost there. So, all right. So here's a couple of things that so you talked about a little bit of the dark side of CB world. And that's kind of not where I came from, but like in my youth when I was playing with it, like a lot of that was very much, common AM culture, especially during 1911. All of the CB channels up and down were always busy. I mean, literally from the moment we left our driveway, I think when we got our first CB in the van, it was AM only. It was like chatter all the way down. And a lot of times my mom would be flipping the radio off because they'd be like talking about like how all of their escapades at the truck stops and stuff like that. And it was like, so I learned a lot very quickly. As a 12-year-old boy, that this is really cool, and so that was my experience. But I never saw or never really got anybody in my life that was into the sideband stuff. I heard that there was sideband, but never really just looked at it. And then when I started to look into it, it was like that alternative culture where I caught wind of like those, like I've seen some videos where I don't know what it's called, but like they do tune-up wars or whatever. You see those like where they match each other against amplifiers, and like it's so bizarre that I watched it and I'm like, this is a competition that they just fight each other with to see who can. I don't know whether it's tune-up or I don't know what I have to go back and look at the videos again, but I don't know if you've heard of something like that, and that kind of like just turned me off a little bit. But I don't know if that is a good example of good side of CB. Yeah, sadly, summertime's tough. Just like 10 meter band, you guys know how the 10 meter band has not been open. It's the same with CB. If the 10 meter band's not open, CB's not open. It's kind of rough. You do get some different propagation things on 11 meters. Just like occasionally you'll get some tropo or sporadic or whatever up on 10. You get the same thing in 11. It's kind of cool. I would say that if I were you guys and if you're seriously thinking about it, go check out MowerJunkie and just watch some of his videos. Watch he'll do one that a lot of the CB guys are. Just go into YouTube and search for CB skip clips and watch these guys operate. It's really cool to watch. It really is, especially Kate in Canterbury. Her skip clips are pretty cool.
But yeah, MowerJunkie is great. He's just a good old boy. He's like a New Yorker that lives in South Carolina and repairs lawnmowers and talks on the CV. Great guy though.
Such a
What's really
weird
funny though, when we see all these companies like Radiotti and everything sending people like me and other ham stuff to test and to trial and do a video on, you'll laugh. They send it to him as well. You know what I mean? They the stuff that you like. He's got the QT80. He got the QT60. You know what I mean? He's got a G90 that's opened up that he can use on the 11 meter band. It's like the guy's pretty cool, but it's fun to watch. And you'll learn a lot about operating if you just watch him, because you can watch him. He's so popular that he creates a pileup. And you can see him breaking pileups and whatever, talking. So a lot of fun. If that's the one guy I would really recommend watching if you want to learn how to operate.
Interesting, because one of the things I was thinking about, like you had mentioned how you're in the legal world a little bit in terms of like amplifiers and the radio. You're not modding as what I kind of knew CB culture to be for a long time. Do you find like when you're doing that whole skip stuff, like, obviously in ham radio, when we play in the space, we have a 100-watt radio and we have the option to go legal limit. We don't always bring it with us in the field, but I know like a lot of these guys, like when they're trying to work those contacts, do you find this in the CB world? Like they just obviously throw power at it, or they play in that safe
power
space?
At it. I am a rarity. I mean, there's not. I'm that guy that does it. I'm like the QRPers are in the ham world. I'm that guy in the 11 meter world. Like I said, only because I'm trying to stay as legal as possible. I'm a rarity, but most of them, I would say, 90% of the guys out there are operating with at least an export radio, like a Striker. I've done a video on the Striker on a 10 meter band. I've never used an 11. The Striker or a QT80 opened up, so they're 80 watts or whatever. And they're all, I would say 90% of them are all using export radios and running power, at least, 70, 80 watts.
I'm still tossing it around. Like, I'm not ready to commit putting something in the truck. Like here's my dilemma I struggle with, because like I see people who have CBs and no slam against anybody who's got a CB in their car. That's awesome. But like my radios, I like to have purpose and function with them. And if I'm using them, I'll have them there and they're available. But I would see my CB radio would be over in the corner. It wouldn't be like in front view, and I wouldn't make it, prominent. It would definitely be one of those devices that I have on the side. So my frustration would be I didn't take all this time to install it, and if I only have a small, short window that you get to play and skip, I mean, it's kind of tough for me to swallow. Although shack-wise, I might, I mean, it's kind of promising to kind of think in the shack.
I'll give you the purpose, and really what I think. I get some darts thrown at me for saying this, but I think the CB radio is the number one most important SHTF radio there is out there. Because think of the tens of thousands of truck drivers that have CB radios in their trucks. If all comms go down, we got a whole network across the entire country. Everyone's going to go. If the cells are down, as a matter of fact, this was proven recently, the hurricanes in Western North Carolina with the flooding or whatever, it was CB radio there did the trick for a lot of people. And got them, there was a lot of comms that were accomplished there. Well, it may sit in your truck and never, ever get used, but who knows if the 2027 blizzard of New Hampshire knocks out cells and everything else, and you need to communicate. And the only way you can get through, down the road to, whatever is on the emergency channel 9 of CB, to get what you need or whatever. And that could be the case. That's just one thought for a purpose to have it in there.
I know I can do that with my Flex. I mean, I've just got to get a couple of, fixes for that, but that's, very optional as an option to go that route. So that may hold water for me. I don't know. I'll have to try it. I mean,
you can put 11 meters on your Flex.
Yeah. You just use a, what the heck are they called? Transverter.
I got, I don't use it, but my FT710, I have the Mars mod, so I can use it on 11.
Yeah.
Any radio with a Mars mod you could use on the 11 meter.
I probably wouldn't need. Yeah, speaking of it now, I probably wouldn't need it because this is like I would just have to go in and make sure it was open to that, and I'm sure software wise you can make the change. But that'd be interesting.
Interesting point with the shit hit the fan thing, right? Is now I'm not a big proponent of this group, but there is a group that has the Channel 3 protocol. And I really like the concept behind it, right? And that's so as a ham radio operator, you would also monitor channel 3 on CB and channel 3 on GMRS, channel 3 on FRS. And that way you could do relays locally, and then through the HF you can make longer contacts. So something like that. It's just it's good to have those tools in your kit.
I'm on a mission, and I really am, kind of like Mike is with the bands and stuff he's doing. I would like to get a group of guys like us, Mike, others. I'd like to get more ham radio operators to do like I'm doing, 100% legal, 12 watts, and let's just all maybe start a net or something where we get on it whenever we can, and we all just rag around and have fun on the 11 meter band, because it's like
see how quickly we get jammed.
I say this all the time. 11 meters is just a band that doesn't require a license that happens to sit in between two ham bands. It's in between 10 and 12. There it is. You know what I mean? Let's use it. It's it's how I feel. Make up our own rules.
I mean, I love 10 meters. It's my favorite band when it's open. I mean, if 10 meters is open, I'm always doing my POTA on 10 meters. So 11 meters.
Hey, I've been here. No, I was on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I was down by the beach, the surfing beach down there. I pulled up in my old truck just a while back. I had a Nissan 4x4 and I had a CB in it. And so it's been years ago, and I remember I cut it on, and I could hear a guy talking with an Australian accent. So I got on, and I called out, and he was like, "Hey, mate, is that an American?" I went, "Yeah, I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina, whatever." He was like, "Holy shit!" He said, "Guy's like, I'm in Sydney, Australia." You know what I mean? And we're talking on 11 meters. Now, you wouldn't even blink or laugh or think it's a big deal anymore on the 10 meter band. You know what I mean? It's it's a ham band that could happen. But, was that maybe 22 years ago when I did it on 11 meters, with a 12 watt radio in my little Nissan pickup truck at the beach back then. I mean, it's pretty cool. So those magic moments happen on 11 meters as well,
Now, why do you think, why won't the FCC, do you think, let it go up to 100 watts or
That's
whatever?
a good question. I wish they would. I actually wish they would.
I mean, has anyone ever, is there a reason behind it, or they just don't care to look at it? Because, you can do 100 watts on 12 and you can do 100 watts on 10.
Yeah, I wish they would. I don't know. I guess the answer is they don't care. They're just I think what happened was, back in the end of the 70s, early 80s, when they just dropped the license. I think that the genie was out of the bottle and they couldn't control it. And it just turned into such a mess. They just threw their hands up and said, "Yep, you don't need a license to operate. There you go. Have it. Whatever." You know what I mean? And they just gave up. Yeah. That's kind of what I think happened.
And they don't, they don't even monitor a lot of the ham bands, let alone CB.
Look, you can go, I guarantee you, all four of us could cut our radio on 7/200 on 40 meters right now, and you're going to hear things 10 times worse than you're going to hear on
right.
I don't know. We've put Paul on 7.200 and Lily shut them up for a good 20-25 minutes. But I don't know how that one worked out, but it worked out pretty well. So
CB's a lot like that. I'm not going to lie. Even the sideband side, there's a lot of that goes on. I mean, it is what it is, and just stupid arguments over politics, gross stuff that you don't want your kids hearing, whatever. It is there. It is there. But at the same time, there's also some great operators that you can make good contacts with as well. You got to weed through the garbage to get to the good stuff.
Well, kind of funny because it's like you say that, but I remember very fondly, like when I just got my ticket in 91 or 92 or whatever it was. Like I was very much a big CB, like I played CB in my truck and, you know, I had it in the car and we used it with our friends, like we all discussed earlier. And so when I got into a ham community, like you would have thought I had like polio or some like rare skin disease. Or like, you can't talk on CB. That's just, you know, that's not how ham bands work. And I was very much lectured early on that like, you know, you have to like hams are more refined. They're like, it's kind of what the communication came across as. So, you know, I kind of took that as like, oh, I'm stepping up into the upper echelon of communications and, you know, this is all great and everything, which, you know,
that's just the way it's been. I mean, it's always been that division. That's kind of been my mission as well. I'm not going to lie. I did not put it out there. I didn't do any CB videos or even talk about CB radio on my channel until I had like 15,000 subscribers. And at that point I was like, if I lose 100 of you guys, F off, okay. I don't care. I'll, you know, like whatever. But now I'm like my mission as a ham, one of my missions is to get more CBers over to the ham side. And also on the flip side of that is get ham radio operators to maybe bring some law and order to the 11 meter band, and we don't have any operate the right way.
Dude, we just talked about 7.200, 80 meters. All of those bands have the same CB guys. The only difference is sometimes they have to remember they have to identify. That's like really the only requirement that they have to bring to the table. And even 100%. Then they don't even do that.
So when you're on CB, I mean, once you identify, like if I found you and you and I are talking, we don't even have to identify ever again.
We don't even have to identify the first time. You can just, I just go, hey Todd, what's going on? Hey, Walt, whatever, and we can talk for 3 hours. It doesn't matter, It's like,
I mean, it would be. I think it would also be cool for like seriously, like when I was my technician before I got my general, I had no experience, talking except on the repeater, and it sounds like it might be kind of cool. And I think it would have gotten me even more interested until Eric, on field day, let me go on and make a HF contact.
It gave me a lot of confidence when I first got my general. And when I remember my first contact on 20 meters, the afternoon after the light, after I got my general, I remember I got the test. I passed it. It was in the morning. That afternoon, I came home and I got on 20 meters and used the /AG at the end of it with my call sign. But I had so much experience of getting into jawing wars on the 11 meter band and working my way through 11 meters and talking to whatever. I had absolutely no mic fright. I remember my first contact. It's been years ago, but I think the guy was in Nebraska. I think it was the Nebraska QSO party or something. And I got it on 20 meters, and I heard him guys like, CQ, this is whatever, Nebraska QSO party. And I went, and then I was Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Golf Oscar. I said, this Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Golf Oscar stroke AG. And the guy come back to me, he goes, yeah, Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Golf Oscar. Wow, that's a whole lot of Oscars. Right then I decided I was going to get a get a vanity call, And I said, hey, thank you. This is my first HF contact. I appreciate it so much. And we ragged it a little bit or whatever. And then at that point, man, I just started making contact, bam, bam, bam. But compared to a new general that's never done that, I think I got right into it and just started going to town because I had already been through that with 11 meters where I would get on there. Hey, this is back then. I would whatever my number or whatever. So and so and so and so. Hey, I'm in Virginia, southeastern Virginia. Blah 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 blah. I would do all that in the CB world, so I was already used to it. And that's why I said I think 11 meters would be a good place for people studying for the test. Go out and buy a $200, radio, hook it up, and start trying to make contacts on it until you get your ham license.
It's part of the technician license. Go on the 11 meter band, try to make a skip contact first,
there you go.
And then you get your technician.
Yeah.
Well, what is your favorite? What's your favorite radio? You said the President. What I
like the McKinley, the President McKinley FCC. It's out of It's actually, you can still buy some new ones out there. It's out of production now. It was replaced by the President George FCC. That's the radio I gave Mike into MAK. I gave Mike that radio.
Right.
I gave it to him. That one was given to me by President, and I used it quite a bit, and then gave it to Mike. That radio is almost identical to the radio Paul has, the Bearcat SSB 980. That's almost that President George. If you want a good radio, take a peek at. I think they're $198 right now. The President George FCC. Great little radio.
Cool.
But we lost Eric here. But like I said, it's like anything else. You might go out and buy that radio, hook it up, get on, and get completely frustrated and aggravated with it right away. You never know. I mean, it's just all in when when you're on and how it it's like anything else with trying to talk skip or making great contacts. It's the luck of, not so much the luck of the draw, but it's just when conditions are there and when things are happening.
Right.
So
Mike says he's bringing the President George out on a park soon. That'll be cool.
I think he's bringing the real President George out, but we'll have to confirm after. So, yeah. So I obviously heard to kind of get into CB. I mean, obviously ham radio, there's always the issue when especially when you get an HF where the cost goes up drastically in terms of the gear and stuff. The same thing kind of with CB or no? Like,
no,
can you get into it cheaper than that?
You could. I mean, I've been sent radios by President Stryker. Stryker sent me a really nice radio, 955. That radio was like a $400 or $500 radio, but that's top of the line. I mean, that is the Mac Daddy best radio made, and it's under 500. You know what I mean? You can all day long. I think right now on Amazon you could get either the President George or the President McKinley for under $200. And they're great radios. That's all you need.
And are they the same kind of caliber in terms of like ham radio radios? Like they got filtering and everything in them? Or are they just kind of
they do. They're pretty good. They also, as much, I'll be honest with you, they're probably better radios, and I hate to say this, but than some of the lower end stuff like the Zygoot stuff. I would say these radios are better.
Okay, we're the circle of trust here. No manufacturer has penetration rights to come in here and blame. Right. So you're good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, it depends. I mean, I like them. And then some of the features on these radios that are not on the ham radios that they'll have like echo. You know what I mean? Like some of it sounds like
all of those weird things. Like how big of a culture is that? Yeah, is that like? I know a few Motorola guys, like I've seen even on the repeaters and stuff like that around here, still have their Roger beeps. And for me, depending on how bad it is, can rub me the wrong way. It's just like, okay, I don't want to talk with them so long because it's like I always have to deal with the repeater beep, and then the repeater squelch, tail off, and then theirs on top of it, and it's like, getting annoying. Like is it really like super bad? Like, because I know when I got into it, when we were doing AM, that was like the latest thing. Like everybody could put a box on there and you get this weird tone or you get this weird audio file you play. Is that still kind of prominent now or no?
No, it's not prominent. As a matter of fact, it's kind of frowned on. If you hear somebody using a Roger beep, you're going to hear everyone jump on the guy right away. Hey, tool, cut that Roger beep off, you tool, or whatever. It's kind of not cool anymore. People don't do it. You'll hear it occasionally. You will hear a little bit of echo in there on some of them, which I think kind of sounds cool. And sometimes you hear somebody and he's like, thousands of miles away and he's got the echo on it. It is what it is. I just run mine straight without anything.
Okay. Oh man, still not there yet. Still not there. I'll be honest. I'm not quite ready to commit. I might have to.
Before you spend a dime, before you commit,
I'll go check out
take a month, take 2 months, take a while. We're all YouTubers. We enjoy YouTube. Go watch the CB YouTubers. Go watch some of them. You'll enjoy it.
Sadly, I just got my algorithm in the way I like now, and I'm going to add this stuff, and I can only imagine what more crap they're going to throw into my feed after I start watching MowerJunkie.
Like me, I have a second login. I have my coastal waves. I got a second one. My second one, is like what I watch on my second one is all surfing videos and stuff like that, and fishing videos, stuff that I don't put in the ham world. So go over there and watch the CB stuff on your other.
I already subscribed to MowerJunkie on my other one, so yeah, I'm gonna keep the church and state separate.
There you go.
Well, I got a deal for you, Eric. So at my house, you know where my desk was, and there was the baker's rack next to the desk.
Yep.
On that baker's rack, there is an extra Bearcat 980 SSB just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There you go.
Feel free to play with that radio.
Okay, we'll have to work on the details after how I get in there, over there, and coordinate all of that. But we could definitely. I might have to take your offer up on that one. See if we can play with it.
You know how to get in.
I do. Okay. I don't want to also be hanging out with a lot of the Merrimack cops that I know firsthand either. But we'll have to work that one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That, you might sweeten the deal. We'll talk. We'll see what happens. Whether I end up on a police blotter or not. Okay. All right. Well, CB stuff is good for me. I don't know. You guys need more things? I want to talk about a 6 meter stuff at this point, but you guys want to shift gears a little bit?
Yeah. Right before we came on, I made an awesome 6 meter contact up to Prince Edward Island, 916 miles. And you know what I do? Just like, what I did tonight, I've been doing it every day for about the last 2 or 3 weeks. Get on and look at the bands, flip over to 6 meters, go to 50.125 and just say Kilo 4 Oscar Golf Oscar, or standing by and listen for any calls. Sit there for about 5 minutes, nothing. Okay, I'm done, cut the radio off. Tonight I did it, and right away someone came back to me. I mean, that's what you got to do on 6 meters. That, and I kind of look at the, I look and see if it's open, like on the...
Well, okay, so I'm a new 6 meter guy, green behind the greenhorn, we'll call myself. And like, I look at the spot, like the SFI index and stuff like that, and, sort of like, spot check it from time to time. But every time I spot check it, it keeps telling me 6 meters is closed. And so like, I take their word for it. So I don't get on the band and I don't open it up. So like, do you just like ignore it and just decide, hey, the gut feeling tells me to go this way, or?
Yeah, but it could say the band is closed. I don't know how familiar you are with like FM radio. Have you ever been driving down the road and you cut the radio on and you on the FM radio listen to music? And
Walt, I haven't turned on an AM FM radio in about 15 years. I don't think my truck remembers how to tune that. If you remember back in the day, let's just say you're in New Hampshire and you cut the FM radio on, and all of a sudden you're hearing something in Western New York on your FM radio. And that's either Tropo or Sporadic E or whatever. That happens. That's why they call it the magic band. Is the band may not be open at all, but there may be some ducting happening between where you're at and, like, I think that's what happened to me tonight, where I'm at and all the way up on Prince Edward Island. It must have just been their signals were just ducting to each other. And when I got on there, the guy, he had his radio and he heard it, and we just, we were back and forth. Right, but so this is where I struggle with, because like I see guys, same thing, like, the same scenario where like I see guys on our Discord for our club be like, dude, there was a 6 meter opening all the way down to Florida or something like that, something crazy like they posted, and they were talking about how that was like going on, and then like by the time I got that, it was like, okay, dead band. Like, and so what's what's the magic sauce? Like, am I missing that little, like, okay, do I have like that little spidey sense that tells me to go to 6 meters and try it at that time? Like, I don't know how, like, is there a tool I can look at?
I'm sure there are, but I said, the best thing to do is just
3 times
get
a day
and see and go. Like, I would say get on sideband between 50.100 or 110 up to about 50.170, and if you've got a waterfall, look across the waterfall.
Well, if you I'm looking at 6 meters now, and it is flat. I mean, literally.
Well, it's nighttime too. That's the other problem too.
Okay.
That's a daytime thing, probably more.
So So the gut feelings is kind of like during daytime hours, like, noon after to like 5 and maybe mid morning sometimes. Then it's just the windows to try.
Well, the contact I just made tonight before we came on was at 7:45 p.m. here. So,
I hear that all the time, Mike. Summer is always I have guys in our club, the VHF, UHF guys. That's all they say is summertime is always the best time. It's like, great. Do I sit at home all the time waiting for summer to start and then try 6 meters? Because I end up always missing those windows.
Best time would be when there's a contest going on. I can guarantee you'll make it.
That's my other frustration. Like 10 meters could be dead in contesting season would happen. 10 meters is alive. It's like, don't tell me 10 meters is dead. It happens all the time.
Funny how that works. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not a 6 meter guy. Tonight was the first 6 meter contact I've made this year so far. And I've been trying to check it every night, knowing that we're in June and June is the time. So maybe that was a good sign. I was really excited when I heard the call, Victor Yankee 2 Papa Charlie. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's not an American. You know what I mean? And him being up in Prince Edward Island was pretty cool. Which is
the guys we're talking
hard to do.
The guys in our club were posted about it. I'm trying to think what ones they were talking. Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. It's just I sit there and sadly I'm an appliance operator, so therefore you can say what you want, but in essence I just expect hey, when I turn the radio on, sometimes contact should be there, and the Magic Band is not like that at all. It literally just says the opposite.
It's what's really crazy is here in my town. There's a 6 meter repeater and nobody uses it. Nobody uses it. It's sad that we have a 6 meter repeater here. And it's just been sitting there for the last, I've been kerchunking it for 5 years plus and never had made a contact on that repeater.
And you're running mainly vertical, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like these guys.
Which is also not the best for 6 meters, better for horizontal. I haven't used it yet, but I have the Momo beam from the league, which is a 6 meter beam, Yagi or 2-element beam with a Moxon for 10 meters wrapped around it. I have that antenna. I'm gonna get out with it soon. I wanted to get out here, but this month, but I just don't. I got too much going on, and I haven't had time to build it and put it together.
Welcome. Yeah. Now that you don't have work, you got plenty of time.
I haven't worked in almost 6 weeks, and I've still been so damn busy.
You probably said the word semi-retired somewhere in there, and that's what set it off.
Yeah. Well, and I've been gone here from the house for a year, so I've got like a list of honeydew stuff. Everything else, I bought a camper. We're going camping. We're going to camping again next weekend. You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm doing stuff, man. I'm having fun.
So, dude, that's actually a good question. How's your RV life? I mean, that's new to you. Obviously, you're going to start doing a heck of a lot more with that, and you and the wife, or is it just for you?
Definitely especially in the fall and the winter, when everyone else is not doing it, and I can go to a campground and get a decent spot. Down here right now, I just like to camp at the beach. We have one place we love to go to, and that park I told you, 1299 US 1299 is a state park. The campground is amazing, so I love that. So we'll probably go more as it's hard to get reservations right now for the summer because they've been booked for the whole summer. But next year I'll probably book every other weekend and do it if I can and have fun, doing that as well. So that's fun. It's just a little, we have got a little bunkhouse camper. It's not much. It's brand new, but that's nice. But my grandsons went with us last time. They're 3 and 6. And now every time I walk in their house, Pops, we're going camping. Pops, we're going camping. So they're excited about it. Yeah, I got that, and they haven't even opened them. They're still wrapped in the plastic. But I bought a 2 walkie-talkies with the base station that goes with them. It says U.S. Army on them. It's got the camo on it, and they run off a 9 9-volt battery, transistor batteries. So we're going to set up the little walkie-talkie base station. We're going to, and then they're both going to get their walkie-talkies, and we're going to play on the next
You're gonna have to have Graham one too as well. She's going to be part of the fun.
Yeah. Oh, she might run the base station, and me. I'll take the 3-year-old with me. The 3-year-old's the talker. The 6-year-old, he don't have much to say. The 3-year-old, man, all he wants to do is talk. So me and him, we might go hike down the beach with our walkie-talkie and talk to.
Oh, dude,
talk to grandmommy.
You got to use him for calling out on POTA. Then set him up and have him learn how to say CQ, and dude, you'll rake it in like you're running a YL.
Yeah, that's what I do with my wife.
Not cheating, my gosh. Not cheating. See, Walt agreed. It doesn't matter. He's doing it.
Dude, I have operated. I did a POTA activation with my wife while we were camping, and the pileup was so bad it sounded like just a giant echo coming through the thing. As soon as she said K4OGM CQ POTA, it's amazing how that works, isn't it? It's like yeah.
It does. It's a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
I know Todd doesn't agree with that statement whatsoever, but I'm holding to that to my grave.
I call it the instant pileup breaker. I even I've had her on the beach with me at times, and I'm like sitting there QRP, and I know damn well someone can hear me, and I'm getting piled on, and I'll listen, and I'll tell her, I was like, wait for it. Now she'll go, K4OGM, and then he'll go back, Kilo 4 Oscar Golf Oscar, and I'll grab it back. Hey, yeah, this is Kilo 4 Oscar Golf Oscar. How you doing? Whatever. I've done that before. It's hilarious. I'm going to do it again and get it on video. I
was off frequency. Sorry, my voice was a little high pitched. That's all.
Yeah. I've done it. It works. It works well. But it's funny. Yeah, it's the instant pileup breaker.
Very cool. So, want to circle back around on the CB kind of ham crossover thing, because it's a little weird, but I like the idea. Like, I guess what would you want it like if we could leverage our audience and our subscriber base here, and I'm sure Mike and a whole bunch of other guys who are on the chat too as well would love to be part of that process. Maybe we can flush this idea out a little bit. I like kind of the idea, but what's your thoughts on that?
I want to take over. I want a group of ham radio operators, even if it's just one channel.
Flash mob.
Maybe we take 25, 26, 27, 30. We find a channel and we take it over and we make it ours and we show them how to operate. And it brings a whole new breed of people over to ham radio, and it brings hams over to the 11-meter band. I think we can do it.
I like that idea.
Channel 37's a channel, right?
Yeah, 37 is a very crowded channel.
Bummer, because it could be the reverse of 73, like the takeover, 73, 37.
Yeah, I like that. That's kind of cool. But we just find one and do it and use lower sideband on it and make it ours. I think that's what we need to do. Maybe
24-hour net.
35.
35's got some, but hey, yeah, it could happen. I think the channel would be 30. The 30 would be the one to grab it. There's hardly anyone ever on 30. And it's just still up there high enough where we just use lower sideband. People would hear us. So it would be people that would get on lower sideband and would hear us. And
there's no reason why we couldn't do if you get to a certain geographic distance where we get to an edge, we could have another 11 meter guy who's just waiting on that same band to do a relay and keep doing the relay, and we can do a relay across America. Which would be really freaking awesome.
Maybe we should plan it and get a bunch of we all do live streams or something at the same time on our channels, and we call it the 11 meter takeover.
I don't know. This will be a good litmus test for you, Walt, to see whether or not a 10 meter, 11 meter CB can topple a ham radio channel here, because I'm really the only real true ham radio channel that hasn't crossed over into the double or triple digits there. So
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I've done a CB. What's really cool. I've done CB videos, and I think one of them, if I go and look at my analytics, I get more thumbs down on those than any of the other ones. But on the same thing, I look at my subscribers.
There you go.
Like I'll lose like 3. And I'll gain like 50. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how that works. I mean, and I've got a lot of subscribers now that are not hams, that are CB guys, and they'll even come in. You'll see them in the comments of mine. Walt, man, you're convincing me to do this. I'm going to get my ham radio license. And to me, that is the greatest. That's just so satisfying to know that that I lured them over from CB into becoming a ham. And then I've had some guys that are hams that are like, hey, man, I went out, just like we're talking right now, I went out and got a CB, and it's kind of fun, that's fun with it, So it's cool.
Awesome.
Well, you got my number, so let me know, and we'll try and we'll make it Illinois to Virginia.
That'd be cool. That would work. I've worked when 11 is open. The Midwest tier to Virginia is usually a good skip. It's in the skip zone there. I've hit Illinois a lot. Chicagoland, right around there. It works pretty well. 11 meters into there does, and then up to around Boston area from here as well. So
wow.
So I think I might be the guy that would be the good middle core net operator,
the hub,
because I could get into northern New England and I could get to the Midwest pretty well. That would be kind of cool.
And guys,
sounds like we got to get our CB radios hooked
I know.
up.
Oh my God, man. Another radio. That one's going to be a challenge for the house here. But I was thinking, if we can get Walt to come up to the 24-hour POTA, we should just set up an 11-meter CB.
That'd be awesome.
Do that and try it out. Why not? That would just be I'm sure we would throw a lot of people into a tizzy while we're doing CQ POTA and having an 11-meter, radio over there, making contacts too as well. That would be freaking phenomenal. All right, we have to set that one up. Once we'll sneak over there, and I'll pick up Paul's Bearcat, and we'll start making that happen.
You said the Bearcat's the same one as the president? They make
the President George FCC and the Bearcat SSB 980. If you look at them, hold them side by side, it's the same case. They're Bearcat and President are the same people, built by the same guys. It's the same radio. So, but you could find. I guarantee you, you look on eBay or whatever for a Bearcat SSB. I bet you find one on there around $100 or so used, if you want to just buy a used one. But I would recommend just go get a brand new President George FCC for like 180, 185. You might as well. You get everything, including the cool stickers in the box that say President CB on them. And my blue bucket here with it. I got you guys on my bucket as well, but you get let's see here. Yeah, there you go.
We've got to send you you have the regular lid cover, right? Like the plastic lid that comes with that thing?
I don't. I need to get one.
We need to send you a padded lid for that. So therefore you've got something to sit on that's comfortable too as well.
Yeah. You got to realize they're upside down to you because I got stuff in it. But when I'm on the beach, it flips over. I think I got all of you guys.
You just need to carry 2 of them then. You stack them together, and then you can struggle on the beach trying to separate them because they're suctioned together, but you might have a way to sit.
I'm looking for my where's it at? I know it's on here. I got my little New Hampshire sticker. I
know I got the New Hampshire state.
Where's it at? I got it from you guys at the. Oh, there it is, right there. Oh, if you can see it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's on here. There you go. Yeah, it's
we're right side up when you flip it.
when I'm sitting on the beach, this becomes the.
Mike's onto something here. Co-phase blue buckets. We'll see. That might be an option.
There you go.
Maybe it's another hot seller. So it's sort of like how the magic carpet is. We can figure out how to tune up 2 buckets and make them co-phased.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, oh man, dude, this is a lot to think about. I don't know, I'll have to chew on it, as they say. If Paul's willing to throw something in the ring for me to kind of play around with too much, investment.
We got to come up with a name. I call it the takeover, but that's a little bit too aggressive. It's too combative, Ham versus CB. We got to come up. We don't want to do something like, make CB great again. That's kind of, that's too cliche, that's going to like right off the bat, that ain't going to work. We got to come up with
make CB Ham again.
It used to be a Ham band. It was.
Yep. It was for a long time.
Yeah.
Until we gave up that and 220 and a bunch of other bands that, we all want back now, apparently. So, oh, man. All right. I got to close this page because I keep looking at new CB radios and they're all, starting to attract me. But anyway.
Aren't they awesome? That's just the other thing. You're going to get sucked into that whole world, too.
They're not, they're nice to, they're not like what I remember them to be. And that's kind of what the problem is. I got that image in my head of the old, clunky, big, giant, chrome covered, everything, radios with the mic that could kill somebody kind of thing.
So everywhere I'm looking, the President George CB radio is like $279.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the George FCC or the George? Yeah. They're different.
Yeah, George FCC $279 on Amazon.
That's probably. I did a video on it recently. I probably drove the price up. That's Amazon.
Thanks, Walt.
It pisses me off, man.
Thanks, dude. It's the cheapest one I can find.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like $198 when I got mine. That's crazy.
Paul will sell you one for a really good deal.
I'll make a deal, right? So Eric, Todd, whichever one of you wants it. Right, my extra Bearcat.
Yeah.
If you play with it and you like it, I'll sell it to you for $100.
That's a good radio. I have one. I like it. That's a great radio.
Oh man, it's got to get over
I've
and
had
get
that
it.
mounted. And if you go to my page and go to my shorts, if you look through my shorts, you'll see the Bearcat. And I'm talking to a guy in Jamaica on the Bearcat. Like I said,
is that the 980 you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, that's going for, where is that? CB World. It's $200.
That's an old radio, but a good one. That's why it's still around. It's such a great radio.
Sweet. Is that the one you have, Paul? The 980?
Yep.
Yeah. No, it looks sweet. It looks slick. It looks elegant, like it belongs in like a.
You know what it looks like? It looks like remember the 1980s Pioneer stereos that we used to have all in our trucks. Exactly. That kind of look. That's like I would get teased by my wife because when I was younger, I was into big stereos and stuff like that. So I bought a Pioneer with a detachable face, but the big seller on it was that it had digitized dolphins that would jump across the screen, and all my friends would make fun. Oh, you're the dolphin guy, your radio. So that's kind of like what the colors look like. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Another radio that's still out there. A lot of people still have a lot of them in stock, but it was discontinued. I like it. It's probably my favorite because it has a front speaker on it. Is the President McKinley FCC. Go look for the President McKinley FCC. I think I paid $179 for mine on Amazon. Direct from President.
These look exactly how I have always envisioned CB radios, like that kind of look. Small little display, big speaker out front.
Yeah, but that thing sounds good because of that speaker on the front. It's good. It's pretty cool.
Walt, why do you have to do this to me?
Bill 3.
What's that?
The President Bill. They got the Bill.
Yeah, but I don't think the Bill's. You got to look close. The Bill's not a sideband.
Yeah, it's only AM FM.
AM FM. Yeah, that's the problem with that one.
Yeah. He said McKinley. Yeah, McKinley's $179.
That's the deal. That's the best deal you're going to find for a brand new radio. And honestly, that one's my favorite. I've got that one right now. Honestly, if we all start talking and doing it, that's the one I'm going to use.
Yeah.
I had that one, and that's why I gave Mike the George. I like the George, but I like McKinley better. So I knew I'd never use it anymore, so I gave it to Mike.
Right. Sweet.
This is not a good thing. I had other plans for other radios now. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Paul, I may be driving over there tomorrow. I think we're gonna arrange that. Then I got freaking A. Now I have to figure out how to put an antenna up for it. That's gonna be even worse. Thanks a lot. This is gonna be really, I'm an HOA. I'm an HOA.
You're an HOA. I was going to say, how many 10-meter antennas do you have?
I have a tram in the closet.
I have one too. The gold one, with the black.
Yep.
And the short one. I've done a couple videos on that. I've talked some skip with that thing too, man. That's a great little antenna.
I can only imagine what that one looks like, and it's probably not like nice and camouflaged. It would probably stick out like a sore thumb.
It's only about 3.5, 4 feet long. It's short.
Yeah, I don't think it's even 4 feet.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Listen. I'm telling you right now. Go watch MowerJunkie. Watch these guys before you start spending money, because summertime, June, July, and August are the crap dump. Horrible time of the year for the 11-meter band. It's just not going to be there. But into August, September, October, November, man, you'll be talking skip like crazy. And when we get out of, but reason being is when we're tilted in the solstice, up here in the northern hemisphere, we're the closest to the sun, and it's called D-layer absorption. The D-layer gets so cooked that like 10 meters and 11 meters just are dead all summer because of it. So because of D-layer absorption. So CB is not going to be like, this really isn't the time to become a CBer. I would say wait about, 1st of September, and everything's going to start going crazy again. It'll be awesome.
So basically,
you got to buy now and get it all set up for September.
Yeah, get it all set up. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about considering buying a 6-meter vertical for 6-meter stuff. Now that's going to be like, maybe I'll wait to CB.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, just play with my extra stuff.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to put any money out of your pocket right yet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Well, my job here is done. I'm converting more people over to 11 meters. We're going to take it over.
I ain't got time for that.
Wait till this airs, and you get more people watching it. They'll be like, oh crap, the CB radios will be going up.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Like when this airs, all of a sudden it's like what I was originally going to be paying. Well, I mean, I'm going to get a good deal either way. So I'll just have to fight it out with the Todd there. But
it's you remember what the first video I did on the little red slug with the telescopic antenna with the little red slug on the bottom? Mm-hmm. I bought it. It was $19.99 on AliExpress when I bought it. I advertised it, and I showed that in the video or whatever. That video had 21,000 views in the first week I had it up, and you could not buy that thing on AliExpress for less than $55. They just like
they knew it.
They knew it. It was going crazy because I guess the sales were going crazy, and they just jacked the price up. Pissed me off.
That's the way it works, man. That's how they know that they can
supply and demand.
Oh, all right. Well, we could keep going forever, and I feel like if we keep going forever, I actually might already have my cart added, and other because at this point, if I have a CB, here in the shack, I'm gonna have to get another power supply, so that's another 100, 200, depending on which one I go. Yeah. Fuck.
You know what? I got an extra power supply at the house.
Yeah, no, just stop. Just stop. Well, I love you, man. Don't get me angry at you.
I think
that's great.
Listen, this is the first time where I've got shit that you can use.
I know. Well, and the sad part is I feel really bad because I pay you for it, and then I know where it would go because it's going to skydiving instead of other radios. But that's that's just kind of the trade-off that I'd have to deal with. I have to be okay and comfortable with that because I know where your next hobby's going.
Paul, you might want to hold off on that deal, and after this airs, there'll be a shortage of CB radios.
I know you all of a sudden might be able to
get $200-$300 for it. Think how many more jumps you could get.
All right, here's going to be the challenge. I'm going to talk to you guys Saturday night, and we're going to see if Eric spent any money before
the 20th. Yeah, for near where we're on that. Yeah, okay. I see where the target date is now. We're going to talk about vegetarian brisket, and I'm going to have to now talk about CV. What the hell is this my channel coming to? Dude, thank you, Walt. I appreciate it. It's
all right, brother. I'm doing my part, man.
I know you're just that's what ham buddies are for, and friends, even closer friends, help you spend your money in a really realistic way. I mean, heck, we do it to Todd all the time.
That's what we do.
I know. God, these guys spending all my money.
You like it. You ask for it. Oh man. All right, cool. Well, hey, anything else you want to add there, Walt? Anything coming up soon on the channel there that you want to tease a little bit there, or you all good?
I got a few things coming up. I'm going to tomorrow. I'm going to go out with that, like I said, the little G106, and then Wednesday morning we're going to get up. My wife and I are going to head down to Kitty Hawk out on the Outer Banks. I've got I've been adding and modding that JPC 12 antenna left and right. Well, I got a capacitance hat for it. I'm going to put that on it and go out, I guess, with the G90 and in the morning work a little DX on the beach there. I've got some cool stuff coming up. I got an entire phase system for phased verticals. I get on the beach and operate with some phased verticals. Right off the bat, I honestly have been sent so much stuff that I'm starting to feel guilty. I've got to get out and do videos on them, on some radios and some things, antenna parts and stuff like that. But we'll see. Sometimes I usually make a plan of videos and what I'm going to do. I've got about 8 or 9 of them planned right now, and it never goes as planned. I'll wake up one morning and go, I want to use that today instead of that or whatever. And go from there. But I'm looking. You keep seeing me looking over here. I've got like a stack of boxes that I've gotten. That I do have that little PA. I was sent the little PA 50 amplifier. So I'm going to take a little QRP radio out on the beach for a little 50-watt amplifier and use it one morning. Everything's in the morning now. I love operating in the morning because that's when I can really work the best DX over to the Pacific. I do have a job offer on the table right now that's pulling me. I don't know if I'm going to take it or not, but it would mean I'd have to go to Houston for like 2 months and then come back home. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm tired of being on the road, but I might do that. If that happens, I'll be down, maybe head on the beach in Galveston or something. But
nice.
I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm tired. I want to be home, you know what I mean, for the summer. And we'll see. So, but that's pretty much it.
Cool.
And see what happens.
Well, man, based off of what you just said, it sounds like, we'll be seeing a lot more, Salty Walt's videos on the channel than we've seen already. I mean, already the bunch of stuff you've already added, it's like I'm trying to keep pace with it. Like Mike says, I keep adding to the queue. It's like eventually I'll get like I can't do my job and everything else I have to do, including creating my own videos because I'm busy catching up on all the other videos. So it's good to see.
I try to keep my videos between 8 and 10 minutes long, but lately the last 2 or 3 of them have been like 25 minutes long. It kind of like they're growing. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Dude, it's totally fine. We all love your stuff, and it's always good content to see out there, and it's always a blast. And we'll definitely keep exploring this CB stuff. We'll take small steps. Well,
if you notice my last video too, I'm not eating lobster rolls and stuff anymore. It was shrimp and grits, true Southern shrimp and grits. The last video was breakfast time, so I do miss my my clam cakes and and stuffies, my stuffy clams and everything there from Rhode Island. I miss that, but other than that, I'll keep rolling.
Yeah, your ships on the air video. My wife was like, the first thing she saw when you cut to, I guess you were looking at the clam cakes, the vendor. She's like, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm like, you want to try what clam cakes? What's wrong with you? Like, she's not like, she likes seafood, but she's not like one to like go venture out of the the norm. So
the crab cakes. That was
the crab cakes.
Cakes,
right. Yeah. So now we're frequenting like a lot of the Portsmouth food fairs and stuff like that. And she's like, I'm on the lookout for that stuff. I'm like, yeah. But it could be a hit or miss. You have to really know. It could really affect you later down the road, and you'll never know it. So, yeah, cool. All right. Well, awesome. Dude, it was a blast to have you on. Thanks for, coming on and talking CB. I know we talked about it a couple episodes before, and we were just like, I wouldn't say we trashed it, but we were just we were trashing on Paul because he was like, I use the CB for traffic reports. So like, dude, you ever hear of the app called the Waze? Because Waze tells you, what lanes have blocked traffic. You don't have to talk to a CB or listen to the CB to get that information. And that kind of sparked the idea. So I was like, oh man, we got to have Walt on to talk CB because I know, him and others have done some good stuff. And I talked to Rob a little bit offline because him and I have been trying to coordinate a POTA activation up at Minuteman, because he comes up this way for work every once in a while. So, I wanted to talk to him about CB stuff, but I figured you'd be the man, and you did not disappoint.
Rob's the man too. Rob's a really good CBer, so
he knows it well, but you definitely have opened my mind. Sadly, and I thought I only had hand radio room, but now apparently I've got more. So
there you go.
all good, sweet. All right, well, let's kind of put a bow on tonight's episode because I know I had a blast, and again, hanging out with Walt is always fun to do. And so with that, you always can head over to our community over on our Discord. Pick up the conversation there. Hey, if you are a closet CBer like myself, maybe, you can come, share with us, and we will be in the circle of trust here. We won't trash you. We will support you, and let's move this movement forward. We'll take CB back, from a ham radio perspective, and maybe bring over some good CBers over to the ham radio world. Let's try it out. Let's get moving on it. So let's make this grassroots thing. It'd be kind of cool. But all that can be headed over to our Discord. And as always, like we said, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, catch all of our awesome content over there, and make sure you subscribe to Walt's channel over at Coastal Waves and Wires. He's got an awesome channel there. If you've never seen any of his content, definitely go through his back catalog. Awesome stuff as always. And if you want to reach out to any one of us, if you got questions, Discord's obviously a good place, but you can always use our SMS links, and you can always leave us a voicemail on this episode, on anything questions-wise, or just let us know how we're doing. And as always, come be a part of our Patreon crew here. We love all the guys and folks there that are in the chat. They're always adding, an interesting, level of, conversation to, our obviously episode here was recording. So we thank all you guys for participating in that, Mike and W1TED as well, and many more that have popped in from past. And so thank you again for supporting us and in our community. And as always, you can head over to our website and check out all of our latest swag at livefreeandham.com, all of our previous episodes and current ones, and, learn more about any one of us here. And as always, thanks again for listening. And from all of us and Walt, 7-3.
7-3, guys.